Okay, where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
It really happened, guys. Look, I did put the Rickroll in the thing because I thought that was funny. But look, that's Aaron, that's me.
I won't repeat what I said when we first got on camera.
Okay. Aaron started it out spicy, guys, but that's okay.
In a funny way.
In a funny way. It was funny. It would
still get me canceled though. So
everything gets everybody canceled. In fact, probably this whole stream we're both canceled. So
we cancel each other out though.
We've canceled each other.
We're canceled.
Yeah, it's like eating celery and chocolate cream pie. It's negative calories and positive calories. Just yeah, that's probably why my diet hasn't worked for me all these years. That's been my philosophy.
It might be the soda, but maybe it's the celery and the cream
Pepsi
pie.
It's just bad. Anyway, we won't talk about soda right now. I also have my water.
Can I recommend today's sponsor, Kirkland Lime Sparkling Water?
Well, it's the Kirkland brand, so it's the best. It's the best. Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna be not bringing up the live chat for this conversation, you guys. For all you gosh darn shit stirrers in there. This is just the chat between me and Nora. And now I guess, at the end, I feel like we will bring up comments only as long as they're nice and constructive and helpful.
Yeah.
We're not bringing up stuff to argue about. And
no, guys, listen, I think my personal goal for this, and this could end in total disaster. I don't know. I'm hoping not, but is for us to have like an adult conversation, and we'll have it here with you guys, but we're not gonna we're both kind of ignoring chat, just so you guys know. Not that we don't love you. We love you. You guys are here supporting us. Thank you for being here. But like Aaron said, just to reiterate it, the moderators are free to star whatever comments they want. But we really want to talk about, my goal is building an inclusive activist community where people feel, safe and welcome. That's what this is not AI Dino Nuggets, but where, sorry, it was a super chat. So I had to,
because I honestly don't know that I can physically keep myself from looking at the chat.
I know we have
to go full screen on my.
Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on. I'm going to take it off of I'm just going to go to people, and then that just shows me and you.
Yeah,
and then
I'm full screen. I can't even see the chat right now.
So now, guys, just so you know, that was the last time I'm going to yell out a random chat because I can't see it. So, Aaron, you're hosting this here. You got your Balake in there.
I mean, technically, but that's true. That's true.
But let's. Where do you want to start? Where would you like to start the convo?
Well, I mean, it's really where would you like to start the convo?
Okay.
So
I think let's go back. Let's go back in time to mid last year.
Okay, well, maybe we start by explaining why. So you texted me and said, "Hey, it seems like everything's blowing up right now. It seems like shit's getting crazy. Why don't we talk about it?" My reflex that I didn't text you is what's blowing up? Because if shit's blowing up in this corner, in this corner, in this corner, in this corner, I go, I don't care about those corners. I care about what I'm here to do. I care about what we did yesterday. I care about people who want to support what we did yesterday, and people who want to always find something to be upset about and criticize do not matter to me. I do not care about those people. Yeah. And so on the one hand, that's how I wanted to respond to you, but that's not how I responded.
No, it's not. It's not.
I said, what would you like to talk about? You said, well, everything.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah. And I said, well, okay, because it was clear to me it wasn't an invitation to an argument. It was an invitation to
I don't want to have, I'm tired. I'm old and tired. I just had to go get my eyes checked, and they're like, your eyes are dry. And I'm like, great. Now they're going to fall out soon. I feel like at this point, part of what I want to talk about is like the last two streams that I did on my channel were really deep and really took a lot out of me, because I talked a lot about my personal journey in Scientology and what it's been like leaving, just the stripping off of things and stuff. And yesterday when you guys were all there, and we're going to talk about yesterday's police commission meeting, because I think it's important, not for the reason that you think I think it's important, but, or some people might be like, I know what's going to happen now. Like, you don't know what's going to happen now, about that, because just certain feelings. But like, I feel like a little bit that we all started on the same page when we were doing this journey. You know, you and I started around the same time, but you really like kept going, and I was like, I don't know, nobody's watching my, I have stuff to do, and I just went off and didn't do it for many years. But you were grinding it out, you know, putting out content for all those years, you know, not every day like you're doing now, but you were putting out the content and really building, you know, the space a little bit, right, of like talking about Scientology. And you know, it's, I think part of the thing that people discover, that I'm discovering through a lot of different things, is that Scientology is really fucked up. It's I think we all agree, all of us that were born into it, brought into it, whatever, have somehow participated in Scientology. I think we all agree that Scientology is fucked up, and it fucked us up in a myriad of ways that we are all still trying to like figure out in this time and place. And part of our programming, right? Like, this is part of what I talked about yesterday, why I had so much trouble at jobs and even in this space. I'll be honest, like yesterday, you probably didn't watch my stream, but that's okay.
I actually did.
You did? Oh, okay.
I'm your secret number one fan,
Nora.
Nora.
Oh, thank you. Drop more super chats. Okay. Thank you. So yesterday, talking about that, like the mindset that we were all programmed into, to like always be seeking out like things that are wrong and trying to fix it. It's not just like, oh, that's bad, like I found it. It's like, we have to see all of the parts of all of the thing. We can never just be that one cog in the wheel, right? Like, we're never, because the way we're programmed is like that cog controls all the other cogs. And if you don't make sure all the other cogs are doing their thing, then you are going to break the whole machine. So we're always looking at all the things, and we're all over the place, right? Instead of just being like, oh, I'm this cog, I go this way.
I saw that part of your video, and I know that that was your experience, and that's how you felt.
Sure.
That's not, that was never how I felt in Scientology or my experience. So I know what part of the video you're talking about.
Okay.
Because that was part of the story of how you went to your job, and you're like literally reporting everything up to the CEO of T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, was it John Legere?
No, I got there just after John Legere left,
Okay.
but I joined T-Mobile for John. Like, he's still like, if you walked in any one of the places, they'd be like, it's the boss. Like, yeah, he's still the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand, well, because we're talking to each other and not just the audience. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
If you want to keep explaining it to the audience, that's
no,
fine.
no, you go ahead. It's in my video. I'm just trying to turn off my notifications.
So, like, I know. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, except to let you know that I know what you're talking about, because I saw that part of your video. And yet that was one of the parts of your video where I go, I never felt that way. Like, I was okay with being my cog, you know, and my one, you know, being the one cog in the machine that I saw as my role. You know, I still wrote reports on everybody.
But that's part of the role.
But only for job related stuff,
right?
Only for stuff that was relevant, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I think, well, you know, and that's it. This is the thing. We all had different experiences inside Scientology. The essence of Scientology is the same for all of us, because it's kind of the through line, right? And depending on how deep you immersed yourself in the technology and the processing, the counseling side, that can change your, you know, like how it affects you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I did a lot. I had thousands and thousands of hours of false purpose rundown about total bullshit. And I did I think a little bit more training than you, not to be like, I did more training than you, but only because like once we came home and we had to redo everything, that's a whole other story for another time. I also then did the supervisor course, the internship, KTL LLC, but I think you had already done that. And the clay table auditor course, the group auditor course. And then when you're on the rehabilitation project force, when you're on, in the work camp, you have to do a tremendous amount of training actually to learn to audit somebody else on all these things. So you become the equivalent of like a read it, drill it, do it class 5 auditor, right? Because you do just the essence, they trim all the fat. You're not listening to 55 hours of lectures and shit. You're just doing the bare bones so that you can do all the processes and stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong though, but like in terms of for you on the bridge, right? Like what was your total participation in that?
On the training or the auditing?
Both.
Auditing was purification, rundown, and some quad grades and FPRD and tons of life repair and tons of, correction lists and rundowns and sec checks and, just endless correction lists and correction lists. In fact, I was told by someone who saw my folders, I was later told is I was definitely a no gain case. And I'm like, probably because I was never in an auditing session I was ever a willing participant of.
Right.
But on the training I did, the flag stuff, the sweep stuff, the metering stuff. And then I did actually go back to flag in 98. I don't know if you know.
No, I didn't.
And then I had to redo the full metering course and the pro sweep course and internship and the pro word clear course and internship. And then when I got to LA, of course I did the Sea Org training and the basic tech hat stuff, but then I had to do, oh shit, what was it? I did the data series evaluators course. Then when I got to AOLA, I did the academy levels and I was on the internship. And yeah, but I never did the NED course. So if you read it, drill it, if you read it, drilled it, did it, NED. But then of course you've got supervising all the auditor training courses for all those years. You basically know all the shit, even if you don't do the courses yourself. So.
Yeah. I mean, just so you guys understand, when you're working a course room, when you work in the classroom and you're teaching all of these things, even if you're not trained, you basically memorize every single policy letter, the page, the paragraph that the person needs to know for whatever course they're on. And that's just what happens. It happened then after with the drill packs, the bullshit, drills that they made and things like that. Okay. So I would say in terms of training, we're, similar. We've got a lot of immersion in the tech, but I think I did more auditing because, clear, blah, blah, last lifetime bullshit. And then I was on the RPF. So that doesn't really, it doesn't mean I got more good, good things, whatever the fuck that is.
You've had a tons more FPRD sections than I have. I've only probably had dozens of hours until they're like, this isn't going to work on this guy, is it? And you're like, no, good. I don't do past life recalls. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I went everywhere. I've been everywhere. I've been on many planets. I've been all kinds of species. It's amazing. And that's part of, guys, this is part of, okay. So this may be like, in everybody's Scientological journey is different in that way, in just the same way that mine's different than yours in terms of like how I participated in the auditing and how you were like, I don't know about that, and that doesn't make it either one good or bad. It was just like was our experience.
There's another major way that I think our experiences or that our experiences were different or that caused our experiences to be different. You remember me when I was at Flag when we were doing the training, I wanted nothing more than to stay at Flag and to be in the Sea Org.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And if I had joined the Sea Org at that time, I'd honestly probably still be there because if you're going to be in the Sea Org, Flag's one of the best places to be, right?
Right. Good food. Yeah.
By the time I actually was just about to join the Sea Org in 2002, I had already given up any desire of being in the Sea Org. And then I was being recruited to join. And at the time that I was like literally having to decide whether I was going to get on a plane and go, I was like, I already know I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I was like, I already know that I want kids and a family. And I said, what am I going to do? Go to the recruiter and be like, handle me on this so that I can pretend you've changed my mind. I was like, you know what? Let's be honest. Everyone leaves the Sea Org eventually. I mean,
wow.
I was like, let's be honest. I'm going to do it for the rest of my life.
There are more ex-Sea Org members on planet Earth than have ever than there are current Scientologists. I mean, like that's a real statistic, I think.
So I basically just sat down and I was like, even from a greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics way of looking at it, spending some years in the Sea Org is still better than spending no years in the Sea Org. Like, that's just mathematically true. Even if they want to make you wrong for leaving, like, it's still technically, if you're a Scientologist, it's still better to have contributed as a Sea Org member for 2, 5, 10 years than never, right? Just math, right? And I was like, you know what? I already know I'm going to leave the Sea Org one day, but that's okay. I'm going to join anyway. And so, but that's also why I knew I was never going to do the RPF. I would leave the Sea Org before I ever did the RPF. It was never even on the table as an option.
Okay. Well, yeah. And because we joined at completely different times, the family situation was totally different. Like when I joined in 95, you could still have children and then get put on a garrison mission, which is like where you're still technically a Sea Org members, guys, but you have to go work at a non-Sea Org organization like San Diego Org or Portland Org or something like that with you and your spouse. And then when your kid reaches the age of 10, you're all supposed to report back to the Sea organization, and your kid is supposed to enroll in the cadet org, and then la-di-da, everything is beautiful. Yeah. Which is, and in 1996, they canceled that forever and ever. In September.
It really that late?
It was September. It was, I remember the exact day because after we got back from, training at Flag, I blew in probably, I want to say June. Like at first everything was going fine, and then like the class 8s like rebelled basically inside of our org, and they were like, you don't get to tell us what's perfection, you don't get to tell us what's standard. So the qual sec and all these guys basically were like, we're gonna start filming you and we're gonna start checking your shit, and they were like falsely saying that I was calling all these reads wrong and shit. And then I started just feeling really bad, and my dad had died and I still really hadn't gotten over that. And so I took off, and then it was like all hell broke loose because fucking Golden Age Tech word clear is now blown, and they're trying to like hide all that shit. And I was doing hard labor for 3 months over the summer. I was like toiling with the events unit, setting up the gala, doing all these things, cleaning, and finally after 3 months, I realized, I was like, okay, I'll stay in the Sea Org, but I don't want to I don't want to fucking be a word clear anymore. I fucking hate it. I don't want to be in that classroom. Like I was ashamed to go back there and all this stuff, but also like, I just didn't want to do it. It was so much pressure. I was like, I'll stay out here and I'll garden. I'll just garden for 1 billion years. It's fine with me. And they were going to trade me to the manor. And then I did my liability. I did all the things. And then, at the last signature I got was Dave Pettit, the CO, the commanding officer. And he's like reading it, like taking like an hour to read this huge liability, because it's like 3 months worth of stuff. And he signs it. He hands it back to me and he goes, you didn't really think that I was going to let you go to the manor, right? And I was like, that was the whole predication on me staying. Because I had already done 3 months of sec checking. Like I was basically, they could dismiss me at any time. I was done. And I said, the only way I'm going to stay is if I get traded to the manor. And, and they worked on it. They did it. They showed me who was getting traded for me. It was the whole thing. And yeah, he was like, that's never happening. Finish getting your signatures and I'll see you back upstairs at, like whatever time. And I was like, I just started crying because I should have just fucking left. I should have just been like, oh, okay, yes, sir. And then just fucking left that on the table and fucking just walked out the door and been like, deuces, I'm fucking out. But I did it because I felt like that trap of, I had like the opposite trap. Like once I make this commitment, like there's no fucking going back. There's no going back because like the whole universe needs me. Like,
well, the funny thing is that even though I had sort of told myself it's okay to join, even if you're going to leave, even though I told myself that, I still could never and knew that I would never be able to bring myself to either HCO or my senior and be like, I need to leave. I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be here. Like, that's not in my vocabulary. And so I was also in a situation where I did not want to be there anymore, but I didn't know how to get out of there because I was never going to be able to say, I want to leave.
What year was that you and Heather left?
To May 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why
you left 4 years after me. Yeah.
Was it that long?
Yeah. Yeah. I left in 2002. I left November 2002.
I got there August 2002.
So you got there right before I went to the RPF.
What date did you go to the RPF?
Oh, I'm sorry, right before I left the RPF. I went to the RPF on March. I can't remember the day, 20 something, because it was the birthday event, and then of 2000.
Of 2000.
Yeah.
So you were in the RPF for 4.5 years.
For almost 3 years, because it was 2000 March 2000 to November 2002. So it was like almost 3 years on the RPF. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I got there like a week before Sea Org Day, and then I finished the EPF like the day before Sea Org Day.
Of course you did.
And I mean, I just signed everything off.
Yeah.
And that's why it's easy to remember the dates.
Right.
And yeah. So then when did we ran into each other like once or twice when I was in LA? And would that have been?
That was at events after I left. I went to the events with my mom, who was still doing the briefing course. And so I saw you at PAC when we used to have the, when they would do the flag events and shit at the,
Did we never run into each other for like wait, when did you leave the RPF?
2002, November. So my first event that I would have gone to would have probably been November, New Year's 2003.
Did we never run into each other for like the 2 months that we were both there where I was?
I think I saw you one time. And I don't know if you saw me because I probably turned and ran really fast because that was not a good look. Also, I was on the RPF's RPF at that time.
Oh.
So was I on the RZR then? No.
Do you know who I never once, do you know who I never even once or only once in 4 years said hi to the whole time we were on the base together? Alyssa.
How weird. Did she transfer to PAC?
She was in like Bridge or something weird.
God, I never saw her.
Or, oh yeah, no, she was there the whole fucking time I was there. We literally said hi once, and I think it was when I was on the EPF. Never spoke to her again.
I saw her like early days when we were back and she was at Bridge, like events and stuff. But then it got like weird. I mean, I'll be honest. I think she had like a super crush on me. She was a bit obsessed.
Are you serious?
Yo, no, I'm serious. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. No. There was a lot of lesbian tension between us. Like if I look back on like our conversations and like the close talking and
broken her in half.
And like, yeah. No, she was I think she definitely is. I think Anna's a lesbian too. I mean, she and I both also like, yeah.
Anna probably goes both ways.
Yeah. And then the only other time I saw you when I was in the Sea Org was when you were in LA showing up with your headshots like a funkadoodle actor.
I didn't show up with my headshot.
You just walked in.
I was living in
like
LA.
And you were walked in like a poster. No, I'm just kidding. I just remember, I think somehow we saw them. You showed me and Justin.
Still have the box of headshots in my closet here.
I think you showed me and Justin because we were like, what the fuck are you doing here?
You want me to get them?
Do you want to get your headshot? Bring your headshots out. He was an actor. It's a real thing. He was an actor. And we tried to recruit him, me and Justin Farmer. And he turned us down because he was, an actor.
Okay, first of all, it's not true. I wasn't an actor.
You were an extra. You were an extra.
I was just like.
But that was the same. Listen, when we're in the Sea Org and you're getting to do stuff, in front of a camera and get paid for it, that's, we were jealous. Like that was cool. And we were fucking in this course room with my goddamn dead lettuce tie on and the fucking see-through shirt and shit. Like, you were having way more fun than we were in the Sea Org.
Okay. So that was, but I was never an actor. I never took an acting class. I never auditioned for anything. But you ready to see that? You're going to be like,
ready. Yeah. You got to show. You got to show it. Look at it, guys. It's so 90210. It's so Melrose Place. It's giving 90s.
Okay, me and Colin did some together.
Yeah, you did. You did. Okay. There they are. Now, if you guys want to win a bet, which one's Colin, which one's Aaron?
We're not looking at the chat, so
you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the names at the bottom kind of tell you, but yeah.
These photos were taken when I was 17, and I'm 44. So do the math on how long I've had this damn box of photos.
But also realize, guys, that Aaron started working, and I think it was 12. Were you 12 or 11?
12.
12. Right. So he worked for 5 years full time at a Scientology, sweatshop, and then took a couple years off to like live life and make, and then was like, I guess I mean, now you just told the story. You're like, well, everybody should do it once. And then you just join the Sea Org.
Oh, no. So it's even different than that. So, and first of all, the only reason we weren't actually in Scientology for the 2 years that we were in LA is because we had massive freeloader debts that we had like $100,000 freeloader debts.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, we would have actually probably been on lines in some, but we were also blown staff members. So you can't be on lines.
Right. That's right.
And what happened is I didn't stay in LA and join the Sea Org. I went back to Philly for 2 more years to finish my contract.
Wow.
And then when that was up, I was planning on leaving staff and going back to LA just as a public. Although I wasn't planning on being a public. I was ready to be done with everything and just go back to LA. And then Alicia Collins and Heather Collins. Alicia was LRH Com International and Heather Collins was Hope off Ash O'Day. They came back to Philly for their mom's wedding. And we had all grown up in the Philly nursery together.
How funny.
And they're like, hey, do you want to join the Sea Org? And I'm like, sure. And for the first time ever, they're like, okay, because we can actually make it happen. I'm like, sure. And then I'm like, fuck, they made it happen. Now I've actually got to do this shit.
See, that's what happens. I mean, my whole life, people were recruiting me since I was 8. My mom, I would say, yeah, let's do it. My mom's like, go fuck yourself. And then when I was 18, I said, yeah, let's do it. And then I was like, oh shit. And then I called my mom and she was like, I can't save you this time, dipshit. And I was like, right, I'm an adult. Shit. Oh, fuck, shit. Yeah, it's it's bad. So then, okay, let's fast forward. So then I had left Scientology in like 2004. You were still in the Sea Org. And you left in 2006. And then somehow we got back in touch. I think Facebook, probably Facebook. And then like, I think it was like 2008 or 9, somewhere around there. I think you started like quietly, like very quietly telling me like, hey,
it should have been 2009, unless I'm just having some false memories about it, because I feel like it wasn't until the 2009 Tampa Bay Times article that
would make sense.
Like the whole time I was in Clearwater, I never really considered myself a public because I'd never been a public and I would never want to be a public. But I definitely still considered myself part of the group. Sure. I don't remember venturing into the dark recesses of the internet and the SPs until the Tampa Bay Times article, because that's when shit started to get spicy and electric.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you and I got in touch and if you were declared, I'm just saying it shouldn't
I didn't get
have
declared
been
officially until like 2012. Because like I was on the fringe of being declared this whole time, but my mom was working for Narconon. So they were like, we can't lose this lady who's a class 8, fucking helping these druggies for pennies. So we got to like, just maybe make Nora not say, like Kylie Rose called me one time and was like, listen, you need to knock it off. And I was like, why don't you just call me to say hi? Like, I miss you. Like, let's go get a burger or something. And she's like, you're saying all kinds of nasty stuff on the internet. I was like, who told you I'm doing that? How do you even know it's me? Like, you haven't even you don't have any questions. You're just accusations, and she was so mean. And she was like, I hope you're happy, and I was like, okay, well, I love you too. Okay, bye. I'm here if you need anything. And that was the last time I talked to Kylie Rose. I think that was like 2011 or something like that. Like they always try to use somebody who's going to like have influence over you. Right.
I spoke to Alyssa once the whole time I was on the base. I think I spoke to Kylie Rose 0 times.
Wow, really? Well, that's because she was on the RPF.
She wasn't on the RPF the whole time.
Well, she was on the RPF while I was there, and she was still there when I left.
Yeah.
So she must have finally graduated.
It's because I was a shy little boy and I'd always been in love with her.
I mean, I'm shocked that didn't happen. I'll be honest with you. I'm shocked that didn't happen.
It's because she was on the RPF. I mean,
right. And then okay, well, that's why. Yeah. I mean, listen, Scientology is literally the smallest town on the planet. I was on the RPF with Heather's ex-husband.
Oh, Theron?
Yeah. Oh, that perv. Yeah.
You know, they made him build our bedroom.
Did he put a peephole in it? Because no, you know why I'm asking?
He went to the RPF for peeping on the women's showers, right?
That's what happened on the RPF. He went because of chronic masturbation or some bullshit. So then, while in construction, the women's shower in the big building was on the 7th floor. Okay. And it's this room. It's got 6 showers and there's just naked women popping in and out because you have a 3-minute shower. It's just it's chaos. It's naked women chaos. So he went up to the 8th floor, which was under construction, and figured out from the floor plan where the women's shower was and drilled a hole and would sit up there looking it up, like, and where I used to get dressed was like right where the motherfucking hole was. And so he eventually got found out. There was a lot of different sex scandals.
It does not sound like you would have had a very good field of vision.
No, I mean, it was like, because that building is basically falling apart, a big ass hole above us wasn't gonna like fucking ring the alarm bells, right? So he got found out. He like went over to every woman and apologized except for me. And I was like, how about me? How about me? These titties you've seen more than anyone else's. How about me? And he was like, oh, right. I forgot. I thought I apologized to everybody. I'm sorry. You know, like what a dork. But yeah, I mean, so much, guys. It just, yeah, that's a whole other show. All the spicy, crazy shit that went on the RPF. But yeah, I mean, like, that's why I say Scientology is like the smallest town on the planet. That like the chances of me being on the RPF with Kylie, who we were at Flag with, and Heather's ex-husband is like, that's wild that we're all like, and then, listening to him get off his overts about her. Like, I don't want to know any of that, because you're just sitting next to everybody and they're telling you like, just mostly it's just fantasies. None of this shit, most of the shit didn't even happen. People just say stupid stuff to please the e-meter God and then get the fuck out of the session. But some people are really into it. I was into it. I believed for sure. I was, one time I ran out a drug that was an ancient form of Coca-Cola. And that was why I was addicted to Coca-Cola. It was this whole thing. I had a realization. It was this drug on another planet in another solar system. And that's why I love Coke. And it was like, you just fucking, like, you just make this is why it's hard for me to like deal with some shit. But let's circle back, because we can tell weird stories all day. So then we'll skip to like after the Leah show, right? Because and true story, guys, Aaron called me like the year that they were starting production on Leah's show and said, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I've just been asked to be a consultant on this show with Jamie DeWolf, who's L. Ron Hubbard's great grandson. And you were like, don't do it. And I was like, Aaron's being a dick. Why is he telling me not to do this show? It's like the first time somebody asked me to do a TV show, I felt important. And he was like, trust me, just don't do it. I can't tell you why, but don't do it. And I was like, So I did it.
I don't remember this conversation
and then it turned out, because you were like, I can't tell you, because you were like working. I guess you knew that Leah was starting her show.
Even though I don't remember the conversation, I can remember why it would have occurred.
Yeah. So then Leah... So we wrapped our whole show, and then Leah started her show, and because they were both owned by A&E.
Wait, can I?
Yeah.
I want to see how these two versions fit together, because it's pretty interesting, actually. And I don't know. Well, even if the story's been told, many people might not have heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Before there was even supposed to be a Leah Remini Scientology in the Aftermath, Jamie DeWolf had already filmed a season or half of a season of some other show.
A whole season.
And was that the Disconnected show? Yes, it was.
Yes.
So what happened was A&E did not like what they had. The producers were like, we can't do anything with this. We've spent a bunch of money recording this shit and we're not happy with it. And this was before there was an idea that Leah would have her own show. They asked her to sign on to basically fix Jamie's show.
Idea. Yeah.
To fix it, to somehow jump on board, and it would be both of theirs. And Leah was like, why am I going to jump onto someone else's thing? I'm my own thing. And
well, see, and I can tell you because I shot a majority of that. I mean, my job was consultation, and they did record my story, but I wasn't part of the show because I wasn't like disconnected. I was just there like helping people who were going to approach their family members with like, you know, helpful things, like things that I had said to my mom, because it took me a decade to like get my mom out of Scientology, right after leaving. And so they took that, like literally, guys, they paid me for 2 days. They paid me $500 for like weeks and weeks and weeks of work. And so because I took money, that was the other thing that they had paid the participants in the show. So then A&E was like, Scientology is going to come after people.
Do you remember why? Do you remember why it became a problem though? Because there was some other reality show about like KKK,
right?
Where it was sort of revealed that some of these people had been paid,
right?
And it was a huge problem, and A&E had to cancel the show. And it turned out that it's one of the many reasons why Disconnected did not air is because some of the people, one in particular, who, because not everybody got paid. You know that, right?
No, and I was a consultant, so I wasn't what they call a cast member. Like you were a cast, you would be considered a subject or cast for the Aftermath show because you were a participant, right? But nobody on the Aftermath show who was a participant or someone who told their story was paid on purpose, not because A&E couldn't afford it, okay? Because they can fucking afford it.
It was against the new rules.
It was against the new rule that had happened as a result of this KKK show that was really sensational. It was like, holy shit. But then they found out some of the people got paid, so then people called into question their integrity. Like, were they telling the truth, or were they just doing it like, hey, I'm on a reality show, I'm gonna fucking pump this shit up?
But also, Nora, it was like, did this production company really put money into the pocket of KKK members? Like,
right. Also, yeah. So the whole
like,
thing
are we financing the KKK with this show?
Yeah.
We probably just said that word enough times to be told.
Yeah, that's we're all we're canceled now. But yeah, no, that's so Jamie's show, and I said to Jamie when he approached me at first, I said, this is the stupidest idea that you've ever come up with.
Who's Jamie? Oh, Jamie.
Not to reconnect families. That's a brilliant idea. And I hope for that for like Phil Jones and Laura and all the people who have been, you know, disconnected somehow, separated from their families, you know, in the way, you know, even Heather and her family have been separated. It's awful. It's awful to me. It breaks my heart when I think of, I mean, my dad's dead, so he didn't get to participate in anything, but it would break my heart absolutely if my mom were not able to participate in my kid's life because she chose something other than me and my kids. Like it's heartbreaking. It's not something that you get over easily. It's not like, oh, well, they're toxic. Peace out kind of thing.
And we even I ran into her mom at Costco like last week.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's just all in the rearview mirror. You know,
no, because you guys are. I mean, did she say anything to you, or she would just fucking turned around and went the other way?
Contrary to popular belief, I tend to try not to instigate confrontations, except if I'm on a live stream. No, like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to make anyone uncomfortable in a grocery store.
Yeah, well, Costco doesn't play, guys. Don't try and start no mess in there. I've seen people try and like get a little, and it's all of a sudden you can't find one Costco worker. If somebody's causing some bullshit, there's like 20 of them. Like, excuse me, we need to not have that. Like, where did you even come from? Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff breaks my heart, which is why I wanted to be a part of it, because I thought, okay, but when a lot of that show was just pure heartbreak. It was awful because, of course, none of the people who were approached by their family member who was no longer a Scientologist, the Scientologist portion of that was like, go fuck yourself. And it was awful.
I remember thinking
awful.
I didn't know anybody associated with that production company, But I remember thinking the premise of the show was kind of dishonest and sensational
Mm-hmm.
because no one who understands how Scientology works is going to realistically think that if you approach a family member who's disconnected from you
Right.
with a goddamn television crew, that it's going to go anywhere but south. And in fact, it will guarantee that family member will never talk to you again because now you're turning them into a spectacle on national television. And I thought the whole fucking thing was kind of dishonest and destructive. And I thought the people who were sucking into participating were kind of screwed over.
A little bit, because I tried to warn Jamie that this was, I told him flat out it wasn't going to work because of exactly what you just said. It's just not getting reconnected and getting someone who's a staunch Scientologist, right, to even be willing to have a conversation with even someone like us, right? Or even not less than us, just somebody who's been like, I'm not going to the event anymore.
Right.
Like, you know, like just mount us, or even not saying that, just like, oh, I lost my ticket. Oh, fuck. I've been so busy. I haven't been on course. You know, like that immediately you're just, it doesn't even take you speaking out or saying fuck Scientology or anything to be pushed away by Scientologists, you know, en masse, because we have Facebook police out there like Prudence Tweedy who are like, I see that you're friends with Asmithlevin. If you do not immediately delete and block him, I am reporting you to IJC. You know, like, and Prudence, if you're watching, give us a call. We'll talk. But you know, like there are literal.
She lives here in Clearwater, I think.
Did they move to Flag? Because he was a CHP, her husband.
No, they did. They moved here. Now, whether they've moved away again, I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know. But, you know, like that doesn't surprise me. But like people that we grew up with, people that we were, you know, at Flag in the Sea Org with, the most shocking thing to me is that anyone, after going through the Sea Organization experience, growing up in Scientology, etc., especially people born into the Sea Organization like Prudence, would then get married and raise their fucking kids in Scientology, prepping them to become another fucking Sea Org member.
I know. I can't understand it.
I don't. Okay, so we agree on that. Like, that's totally fucking insane.
Yeah.
Okay. So
to me, it's just so against the basic instinct of why to have kids.
Right.
Like, I can't, like, you want to enjoy your kids. You want to squeeze them. You want to snuggle them. You want to enjoy their life. I can't be like, go to the Sea Org. I know I'm never going to fucking see you again, except maybe once a month if I'm lucky. And even then, that's like a pipe. Like, I can't wrap my mind around.
That's only if you're on lines and you're in good standing.
Yeah.
Like there's all these quid pro quos that are involved, and it's bullshit. It's not. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I think the other thing that we have in common that's important that I think gets lost when we are, you know, I hate the term infighting. I think it's fucking bullshit, but that's just my aggravation with it. But you know, when we are
what's wrong with the term? I mean, it's infighting. It's fighting within a group. I mean, unless you're like, well, it's not a group. Well, it's a group, but it's not a group. Like, it's not an official group, but it's a group. Even if it's a group of friends who, like, even a friend group is a group fighting, but it's infighting, right?
Yeah. I just don't. I think it like, I think it demeans and sort of lessens what I was feeling. Do you know what I mean? Because like infighting to me feels like it didn't take into account the magnitude of emotions involved. It's just like, oh, they're just cranky with each other. They just, you know, I got cut off in traffic. You know, like,
okay, I see what you mean. I know.
Yeah, like to me, that just it makes it seem less, you know, and like let's get into that a little bit. Like, so okay, so we're on the internet, and you know,
how far forward
we go? We'll just go to like 2023. We'll skip a lot of stuff here. We're gonna skip to 2023. Okay, so
but
now
we had so much infighting before then.
Did we? Well, we did. We had, guys. Okay, so we had a lot of other times throughout our history where Aaron and I had massive disagreements, and we didn't talk for a few years. We wouldn't text each other. We would nothing. We weren't talking. We were just sort of like existing in our own, you know. I mean, also Aaron's lived in Florida for like, you know, last 20 years or whatever, and I've lived on the West Coast. So it wasn't like we were at Costco avoiding each other, like, ugh, you know, like we were just on different coasts doing different things. there was an initial falling out we had right after the Aftermath show that involved Miriam Francis and a couple other people on Facebook. There's a whole Facebook blow up.
Was there something earlier than that as far as like relating to you and Mike having a falling out during the show? Or but did you and I not fall out because of your
I don't know if you, I don't remember, but I quit the show because I was in the middle of, you know, we got a ridiculous, there was a lot of stuff going on in the on the back end of the show. And
by the way, I don't mean to necessarily rehash all this because I know you've kind of got a hard stop.
Mike blew up at me in front of everybody. And when I say blow up at me, he stormed out of his office, and we were sitting at like a bunch of desks that were turned toward each other, me and the other associate producers. And he leaned across Raffi, who was Leah's personal assistant, but also became like an associate producer on the show. He leaned across his desk into my face and started screaming at me about like basically being non-productive. It was like being back in the Sea Org, having an executive scream in my face, the spittles all over me. And I just sat there. And ironically, immediately before Mike came out and did that, one of the associate producers, because we were all like working on something, was like, what was it like on the RPF? And then Mike came out and did that. And everyone just sat in silence. And I just looked at him and I was like, pretty much like that. And then I went and did my work, and I turned in my my parking pass, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to work from home. And then the next day I wrote an email to Leah and Mike, basically recounting what had happened and saying, I really don't feel comfortable, you know, coming back into the office in those types of conditions. You know, I wish you nothing but the best. Here's all the work that I did. You know, I've turned it over to so-and-so. And Leah basically wrote me back and was like, well, sorry, it was a bad experience for you. And I was like, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's really not what had happened, but okay. And I continued to support the show. I tweeted it out. I did all that stuff. I don't think, you know, I think you and I got into it when I first started trying to speak out about Mike when you were on the Aftermath.
Probably. By the way, I was joking about having to rehash the earlier.
No, and I know. And I think that was part of it because I had that experience with him. I was like, he hasn't changed. Like that experience told me that the Mike Rinder that we all knew in the Sea Org, who was, you know, a very scary individual as the head of OSA and the LRHPPRO and all the many hats he held, he was a scary guy. And that moment told me he hasn't fucking changed, not at all. And that made me sad. It made me mad. It gave me a lot of feelings, and I felt, you know, justified about speaking about the things that he was involved in the Sea organization. And then, of course, he got into shenanigans later with other people that had nothing to do with his time in the Sea Org. You know, and that's neither here nor there. Like, you and I can have different opinions about Mike Rinder. I
don't know that we do have different opinions.
Okay.
About
I mean,
Mike
and genuinely, guys, I got a lot of shit for the goodbye mess. You gave me shit. A lot of people gave me shit on the day that Mike passed. I did, you know, to me, I was very sincere. I am very sad that he passed of a horrific cancer that was awful. Like that, there's no good way to go when you're like disintegrating. That's awful. That's not an end that I wish on anyone. I'm also sad for his, you know, for his young son, for Jack, and for Christy, who I know, you know, really loved him. That's sad. You know, and I'm also sad, and I said it during that time, I'm also sad that all the things that I still think that he had, you know, somewhere in his brain that he wasn't talking about will never be known unless Marty talks or Dave Miscavige squeals like a little baby pig on the stand somewhere. You know what I mean? Because there's only certain people that know all of that stuff from certain time periods. And of course, Mike wasn't involved in anything after 2006 when he left. Or
well, I can say this just to let you know, because I don't know that you and I have had a lengthy conversation about this.
Not really.
Back when me and Mike were on the same team, you could not have convinced me that there was anything he was holding back. You could not have convinced me.
I tried.
I'm now in the complete other camp. Not only do I am I convinced, I know it's not an if, it's a that.
Okay.
And so I don't think, well, other than whether Mike Rinder was secretly working for David Miscavige the whole time, which I don't know that you genuinely believe. I don't know that you and I have any.
That was hyperbole at that point. I mean,
was
like, it was a little bit of hyperbole, but like all of the arrows that I was connecting in my mind and on the thing, I was like, that could be a workable theory. Like, why is he always stopping things like magically right before things take off? Like, that's sus AF. But you know, like, I don't have to be right about it. I mean, it was a lot of hyperbole.
I feel that anything Mike did that looked like that, he was doing for his own reputational protection. And I genuinely, personal opinion, I got no secret inside source. I genuinely think that even if Mike knew prosecutors would not be interested in going after him for anything, that some disgruntled former Scientologists' family members, a la Lisa McPherson's family members,
sure,
would be more than happy to sue Mike Rinder for anything he admitted to participating in. I genuinely believe that was a concern of mine.
And I'm sorry, but as they should, because when his excuse, which he said many times, oh, I couldn't have possibly known about what happened, like with Miriam. I couldn't have possibly known about Miriam Francis because I was tied up with the Lisa McPherson thing. Like, bro, you just told us you were in charge of it. We also have the video of you on your fucking cell phone outside with the protesters. Like, you know, we know you covered it up.
I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I just want, I like to let you know when we're on the same page is like, I'm still willing to believe that he may not have had specific knowledge about Miriam. But when Mike says, I never knew of or participated in the cover up of child sex abuse ever, I'm like, that's a lie.
That's bullshit.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
And my whole position on Miriam isn't necessarily whether she was right or wrong in her beliefs. It was, Mike, you're the fucking head of OSA, dude. Like, you need to lean into this. Yeah. You need to be like, Miriam, I'm the chief bad guy. And you have concerns. And if I want to be the chief, if I want to become the good guy, I need to be willing to sit here and actually answer questions in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to ramble on and on about this. I understand why Mike didn't do that. It's just what he would have needed to do to make things better. That's all.
No, I think you and I agree on that. I think that the fact, this is my own personal gripe, that he has been given a cape and superhero status because he left.
That's right.
I think that's bullshit. That's not to say that he didn't help some people after he left. He absolutely did. Him being on the show with Leah legitimized the claims that people were talking about. It legitimized the stories to have him as the former head of OSA. Now, the bone I have to pick with the production company and Leah and him, but RIP Mikey is not here, is that every time he spoke about OSA, he would say they and not me. And it's like, that would have changed so much. If he would have just been like, well, when I was the head of OSA, let me tell you how we ran this op and we did this, that, and the other thing. First of all, people would have been like, wow, this guy's really fucking changed. Look at him telling all this truth. And people out here in the ether of like, what the fuck am I? Am I an ex-Scientologist? Am I a survivor? Am I this? Am I that? I just left this thing and I don't know what the fuck to do. Would be like, oh, that shit really happened. Right. Like, I'm not an insane person. And that's my bone to pick with it. I think, you know, what Jamie Mustard said about the show itself, I think is probably the most correct description, is that show made it safe for people like us who grew up in Scientology to talk about it. We weren't just freaks anymore. We weren't just like the weirdos, because it was so in the social media and everywhere. People were like, oh, Scientology. Like when I was going to school, regular high school, and I'm rocking my clear bracelet as like a fucking sophomore in high school, people are like, is that a medical alert bracelet? You got diabetes? What's wrong with you? Oh, you're a Scientologist? You eat babies? What?
You were already telling our stories before the TV show came out. No, I don't think that's what the TV show did, in my opinion.
Okay, I think it helped. I think it was a help. I think the movie was a help. Going Clear specifically, not my Scientology.
Oh, by the way, just for the record, in case I'm being unclear, I'm a huge fan of the show and its value. Yeah. I just don't think that was one of the pieces.
Okay, well, I mean, you know, everybody gets we can disagree on that. So then in 2023, we had a conversation. And you were like, come back to YouTube because we got a great thing going and people are interested. And we don't have anybody who's out here who's gay, who's talking about what happened when you're gay. And
now
that was part of it. It wasn't the whole pitch. It was like, get your lesbian ass on YouTube.
I think I might have been explaining to you why, if you had any insecurity, because everyone's insecurity is pretty much the same. What do I have to offer that's different than what's already being done? And so it might have been one of the things that I'm like, well, for starters, there's no one else doing this who's gay.
Right.
But I just want to be clear. I wasn't like, you got to come on. I just want to be clear that I wasn't like, you need to be the whole gay SPTV correspondent because we need the gay.
Yeah, it wasn't the only reason.
Okay.
It was, there was, I'm not trying to be like, and you thought I was funny and, well,
no, but I did. My whole point was this. Look, my whole point at that time, well, to everybody was like, what's so special about me? I wasn't at INT. Like, you were in the Sea Org for longer than me. You were in Scientology for longer than me. You were at Celebrity Center. You're a woman. You're gay. I'm not. I mean, allegedly. No, but like, my point is, my whole message to everyone was like, this is like the new frontier. Right. I was giving everyone the pep talk, but the truth is, there are certain people who are made for this. Natalie's made for this.
Yeah, Natalie does a great show.
I'm just giving like an example, right?
Yeah, no, I don't have any disagreements with that.
You're made for content creation. Like, you're good at riffing, you're good at talking, you're good, you're funny, you're. I mean, I probably would have said to you at the time, you're like the female version of me. I mean, I probably would have said that.
I have way better hair though, but that's beside the point.
And so anyway, it was part of my, I mean, honestly, one of the things that's always rubbed me the wrong way is you have at times sort of acted like I sort of like tricked you into joining YouTube. And it's like, I was like, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Okay. If I gave that impression, I take that back. I mean, I don't think you tricked me into it.
Or with like false promises or something.
Well, I think my expectations were a little bit higher than what's reality. And I have said in the past, like, that's on me. I know that the YouTube algorithm is a beast and it keeps changing, and what it likes and what it doesn't like, and how you do tags and how you do your fucking thumbnails, and like what time of day you post and how long is your content. I mean, it's so much space math that I just, like, at one point I was just like, I don't fuck it. I'm just going to fuck it. Right. And then unfortunately, Zero Dark Tony happened. Right. And in 2023, unbeknownst to you and the rest of the world, I was having already like a lot of different mental health things going on. And I think that has to do with, number one, just raising kids in today's world. It's a fucking lot. You have kids. I have kids. It's a lot. It's a lot to think about, the pressures of keeping them safe and all of this other stuff. It's just a lot of things. And physically, because I'm getting old and shit, and menopause probably, and other stuff, I was having like this just kind of like whirlwind of shit, like hitting me all at the same time. And so like I had barely started back into therapy. I hadn't really found a therapist. Is like a whole thing. And what happened, and this is prior to like my diagnosis of ADHD, which again may just be hormones anyway, whatever. But what happened was when Zero Dark Tony entered the picture, because you and I had a lot of arguments about this, I could not get involved. I could not think about him. I think every day I called you upset on my way to work to talk about what he had just did, or what he was going to do, what he was going to say about me, what he was saying about my wife, my kids, like all this stuff. And I felt like, honestly, at that time, like you, like in my mindset at that time, I was like, well, you brought me into this fucking thing. You brought this fucking guy into this thing. And a lot of me wanted to be like, I want you to fix this. Because you asked me one time, what do you want me to do? I want you to fix it. I want you to give a shit about it, right? We had like this, I was driving and we had this argument. And I felt like at that time, completely abandoned by you, because like this psychopath was coming at me every single day, no matter what I did. And that I changed jobs. He's then fucking calling my job, you know, like it was a whole disaster. And that was the second big blow up we had when we stopped talking a bit, where you didn't believe that he had called my job, and you were yelling at me on the phone, and then I yelled back, and I was like hysterical because he had called my job. He was like calling HR, and like what fucked me over at that time is that I had left T-Mobile and I wanted to do something totally different. I didn't want to be on phones anymore. And so I was working at Safelite, and I was like, this is awesome. I'm doing all this physical stuff. I'm learning how to like fucking, you know, fix something, you know, like it's like I can see the thing that I'm doing. Like it made me happy. And I was about to get a promotion to be the assistant manager. It was like going to be the highest paying job that I'd ever had in my life. And then fucking Tony like couldn't just let me have happiness. Right. And I'm trying to tell you because I thought, I don't know, you could do something. I didn't, you know, obviously you don't have special superpowers on YouTube or something like that. But you know what I mean? Like that was, my mind was thinking you could.
Well, you wanted me to do videos calling him out. And I remember being like, Nora, it's not that I'm telling you that just, I don't want to, I'm telling you to stop responding. Because I remember at the time me thinking, first of all, the most views he would get on videos is when he would do them about me. But because I never responded to him, it was boring and he stopped. Now, and then he started going after you, and he started going after Marilyn. And if I recall correctly, was Vanessa the first person he ever went after?
He went after Vanessa very first. And then right after that, because I told him to go fuck himself, basically I jumped in the chat and I was like, you're a piece of shit or something. Like, how dare you? And then it was like him and Dana teamed up to like not only go after me, but bring up my fucking dead father and dig up all this other shit. And just as a PS to the whole crowd, I have had emails with Dana since then apologizing to me for her participation with Tony. Yeah, for real. For real. She's not a fan. You know, like if you haven't seen if you haven't seen her recent stuff, she's put out some actually really good stuff about.
She blows with the wind. Which way is the wind blowing today?
See, and we disagree. We disagree on that. You know, we disagree on a lot of stuff. Here's the shocker, guys. We disagree. But yeah, so we had a very big falling out after that. I was quitting YouTube. I think I've quit YouTube like 3 times probably. And then I came back. And then because I was like, well, I'm not going to talk about Tony because he's driving me insane. You know, and like literally I had to go into inpatient, intensive outpatient therapy, IOP, at the beginning of 2024. I think in 24 is when I focused more on Mike. Like I talked a lot about Mike.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I can imagine a world where you're responding to Tony and I'm responding to Tony, and that probably makes you feel better because it makes you feel supported.
Yes.
But with hindsight being what it is, you know, now, do you agree that even if you and I were both going after him, that would have just given him more shit to do? He would not have stopped. Like he's there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, no, because like I literally went into, you know, like just no contact zone. I didn't look at anything he was doing. I didn't read any Reddit stuff. Like I deleted Reddit. I stopped all this stuff. And that only changed, like, you know, like I felt like I had talked about what was wrong with Tony for a long time, and you didn't care. Nobody else seemed to care. It really hurt my feelings like a lot. Like I felt like so unsupported, uncared for, just sort of like TFB, like too fucking bad for you. And then this shit with, you know, Solomon went down, and now all of a sudden we've got it. And I love Hero Light Cody. This is not a diss on you. I think he's fucking fabulous. Whoever you are, they are, you know, and now all of a sudden it's like a crusade. It became a crusade, like as if I'm so unworthy of protection, of help. But and I agree, like this is a minor. We need to protect the minor, and things like that. But like it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It hurt me. I mean, like literally, I felt hurt by the whole quote unquote community, because people were, you were telling me to get over it, just let it go. Other people were telling me that. The fucking community was basically telling me that. And then we're all going to come to the aid of this kid who's a great kid. I don't have anything bad to say about him. Okay. But it's like, what about me? What about like, I fucking matter. You know, like I've survived already a fucking house of horrors, and I have my own personal fucking stalker who literally drove me to almost die. And then it's like, oh, well, glad you recovered. Good job, you. And then it's like, oh no, this kid on a scooter gets insulted. And it wasn't just that. Like, this was my initial mindset. Like he's taken things so beyond the pale, what he said, what he's, yeah. It is so disgusting. I mean, I thought, and he's done, you know, similar and worse things to me too. But it's like, I'm happy that Solomon and his mom could file a case, and that he has the 26 charges, and he was arrested, and like I fucking popped a bottle of champagne for that shit, because it's complicated, because I'm in Oregon, he's in California, and so the authorities here basically told me, like, if he were in Oregon, we would already go arrest him for what he's done. Like when I showed them the evidence, they're like, that guy, if I could put him in cuffs, I would. But they can't, because there's so few laws on the books about cyberspace that it's out of local jurisdiction. But because of, you know, the case, if you guys have been following, let's not get into that. But like he broke the law, and then he broke the restraining order 26 times and counting. Let's put it that way.
Can I reframe something?
Yes.
Here quickly. So even when this Zero Dark Tony Solomon stuff was going down, I didn't do any content about it at all. It wasn't until, and the only reason the someone picked up, you know, the banner for Solomon is because Streets did. Like, because Solomon's there with Streets every night. And then, so Streets is there.
I was supporting Solomon. I was like, fuck yeah, somebody's going to get justice.
No, but my point is, I know people were.
Right.
But the reason that cause was taken up is because, like, I guess, let me just speak for myself. I didn't pay any attention to any of that until Tony got actual criminal charges against him. I didn't pay any attention, because I think Zero Dark Tony is a sideshow. Like, the fact that they were able to get a restraining order against him, as far as I'm concerned, that's like amazing. I never expected that. I was like, wow, that's like, Jesus. I didn't think anyone was going to take online trolling serious. I didn't think any law enforcement official would ever take online trolling seriously. Apparently, he made the mistake of actually showing up in person a few times and all that kind of stuff. But yeah. I guess what I'm saying is, I certainly didn't start caring about Zero Dark Tony and anything he was doing to anybody until his ass was hit with criminal charges. That's all. That's part of my like big. Honestly, that's part of my heartbreak, is that like it made me feel like you didn't give a shit. Like I was doing really shitty, and I tried to tell you that multiple times, and you were like, okay. Like, you don't, the feelings thing. I'm not very good at.
No, you're really shitty at it. You're terrible at that.
I know. I'm not good at it. I mean, I'm not good at it, because I feel like unless you want me to actually fix it, I'm sort of like, unless you want me to be like, you're right, you should do more videos about it, or you're right, I'm going to do a video about it, I sort of feel like, what are we doing with this? And I'm just not good at that. I know I'm not good at that. I'm just not good at that.
Are you going to work on that? Do you think that's something you should work on? Like maybe humaning better?
No, it's already baked. I'm 44 years old.
That's bullshit. Our brains are elastic. We can learn anything.
The truth is,
you could do something.
Luckily for you, I'm not the only person that you have that you can go to with problems.
No, I know. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I have an entire support, network of things.
I mean, especially since I was the one that you were upset with for not doing videos about him. So if you come to me with more upset about what Tony's said or done, I'm like, who cares what Tony said or did today?
I did.
Like, I know you did.
My brain did.
I know you did, but also the amount that you cared about it was also the reason you were doing videos.
Right.
And so I didn't really know how I was going to validate, your feelings about it, but invalidate your desire to do videos about it. But the truth is, I feel like there probably were several conversations earlier on where I was being the most patient, understanding, and compassionate version of myself that I'm capable of mustering. But it's not like I'm the only
one time you told me, like, if you're having fun doing the videos, then do it. If you're not having fun, stop doing it.
That's right. I said, if you like wake up in the morning excited to do your next Zero Dark Pony video, please do it.
Right.
But if you're doing it because you feel like you're going to get justice or it's going to change something and you're going to feel bad when it doesn't, don't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm not the only person I'm sure there were other people doing a better job of being there for you during this time than I was, considering I'm here in Clearwater.
Yeah. I mean, as you're not my neighbor, you know. So no, I felt, like in my perception of your responsibility level in this de facto group, which is not really a group, but whatever, of you being in the position that you had been in twice in two organizations of leadership. And
why do you call it leadership?
Well, if you're the president or vice president of an organization, that's in the leadership category.
That
that's
only makes me the leadership of that organization. It doesn't make me the leader,
right?
Of a
but
community.
You have to, but those organizations in the community of people who have left are de facto like groups of, elite people who are like, doing something extra special that isn't just, I left Scientology, so now I'm living my life, right? Like, and that's a volunteer thing. I understand it's a whole complicated thing, but it's like when you put yourself in a position of leadership in an organization that has to do with the subject matter at hand, then that puts you in a de facto leadership thing. Like, I know that's not how you envision it, but like if we were to do a survey of all of the viewers who are never ends and people who have left Scientology and ask them, would you consider someone as the president, vice president, or a board member of a charitable front-facing organization that goal is to help ex-Scientologists? Would you consider them a de facto leader in that ex-Scientology space, right? I would guess, and this is an assumption, as I'm trying not to make assumptions, guys. It's in the book, but my guess is that probably a majority of people, not everybody, but probably a majority of people would go, yeah. Because like, if I look at like, any other like type of thing where there's, groups and whatever, if you look at like the NFL, right? Or just talk football for a second. So if I see somebody who starts a charity for NFL players who have a traumatic brain injury to get like free treatment for traumatic brain injury from all the tackling and shit, I'm going to look at that person as like, oh, this guy's a leader for sports people. Like he's been elevated in that field. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that's where a lot of our other disagreements come from, because then I hold you to a much higher standard than I think that you think I should be doing. Right?
Okay. So first of all, I want to acknowledge the things that you've said that I think that's sensible. What you're saying is sensible. Okay. Mm-hmm. But just for fun, I started a poll on my.
Oh, did you start a poll?
Chat. That's what I was doing over here.
Oh, okay. What did people say?
Well, the question is, would you consider a foundation board member, a de facto community leader?
Okay.
And it's fine. We'll revisit it. Right now it's 64% no, but it's on my channel and they know how I feel. So it's biased. But it's like, I do understand what
and my
you're
mods
saying.
can put up the same poll. If you guys can put up a poll on my channel, we'll see what they say, and we'll see. I mean, the thing about it is that like that's, listen, this is part of why I'm really trying to apply all the things that I'm learning in therapy and other things. Now let's let's talk. Let's dip our toes in the therapy pool for a second here. Like,
sure.
I have been. Now I know that you've been really pissed about things. It is. I mean, I'm just characterizing it as pissed. Whatever. You're upset. You're not upset. Whatever. You can correct me about things that I've said about the foundation in particular.
Sure.
And I've been, before I started, saying what I said about the foundation, and I'm going to quote you. You said, if Nora is a product of those shots, I don't want them.
My pearls.
Yeah.
I was just being mean. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for admitting that out loud, because the thing that upsets me about that, right, is that and this isn't about Jamie Mustard, okay? Like it involves him, but it's not about him. Is that like the thousands, and I do mean thousands of actually it's probably tens of thousands worldwide, because there's Stella centers all over the world. People who have received this treatment that I've also received, their entire life has changed and been saved. And that is documented in Australia at the Stella Center, where they deliver thousands of those per year, in Europe, in Canada, and across the United States, where different centers deliver this. And of course, the U.S. military also utilizes this procedure for the returning vets. It's not a new procedure. It's actually been around for over 100 years, and it was originally used to treat menopause symptoms and things like that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Yes. I don't think it's actually. I'm going to say it's not okay, but I don't mean it in the Scientology way. Like, I don't think it is correct for anyone in our space who's not an actual certified either medical doctor or mental health professional to speak. But everyone's free to say whatever they want. But what I mean is, what you just said about this stuff being used in the military is actually very important. There is a huge difference between the studies that have been done on this procedure on combat PTSD and the type of complex child-based PTSD that ex-cult members suffer from. And I simply think it is incorrect for people who are not actually experts in this field to advocate or promote it in a way that is anything beyond, this is what it did for me, and I think it was great. Because everyone, talk about yourself all you want. Like, I look, I've read the book. I've listened to the book. My biggest question I had while I was listening to the entire book is, why isn't the doctor writing the book?
Because he's boring as fuck. That's, I mean, like literally, I mean, they were partners in doing this together, and in all of the military research. That was it. That, like, you read the book, so Jamie's involvement in that.
I'll also tell you that it's the body of information that exists to support this is not as strong in the child-based complex PTSD as has been widely reported by the people widely promoting it in our very small community. And I think people who are not medical professionals or mental health professionals heavily promoting in a tiny community something in a way that it's like it's problematic to me. And your experience is your experience. No one could ever tell you that those shots did not save your life.
Well, except you did.
But that's true for you, meaning that's true in your case. And I feel like this thing has been extremely irresponsibly and heavily promoted in our very small and somewhat vulnerable community by people who I don't trust. And so, I'll never in a million years question anything you have to say for yourself about this. I really would like to stop short of strongly promoting a medical procedure and representing. Clinical studies are very nuanced and complicated, and even professionals have a hard time accurately representing the outcomes of a clinical study. You can have a clinical study that shows a statistical improvement in a certain measurable thing, but is not tied to outcomes. And studies can be so vastly misrepresented and misunderstood that I got to a point where I felt like it started to feel unbelievably suspicious and irresponsible the way this thing was being so heavily promoted in a way that wasn't entirely honest
Well,
and wasn't entirely consistent with the clinical data.
Let me chime in here, because you and I had a discussion about the book after you read it. You were not impressed by it. I'm still finishing it, Jamie. Sorry, I apologize. I'm still finishing it. But what I got out of the book, I was like, okay. And because I know Jamie since I'm 13, I was like, okay, well, this is his experience. I find that to be fascinating. I'm listening to the doctor. I'm like, okay. But the thing that changed my mind about me deciding to get the shots was not Jamie. It was actually organically from Re's Connecting popped up in my TikTok feed. Like, I was just scrolling one day on TikTok, and there was this Australian woman who I don't know, with bright red hair, who was like, hey guys, I'm, 3 days, she's at the beach. I'm 3 days post the shots. And I just wanted to check in with you and tell you like what I've been noticing since I got the shots. And she started talking about all these things. And I was like, oh my God, it's real, right? Because it's one thing, like, you could tell me about whatever. I mean, I know when you hear something from somebody totally else, she was a rando at that point. Like, we're friends now, but like, I had no connection to her whatsoever. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do it, because what I could see from what she was describing her life before and what she was seeing now was exactly what I wanted to see, a potential, just one of those things to change for me. Right. And, what's disheartening to me is that I think because of you and I having a falling out, and people's personal beliefs about Jamie Mustard, which I find to be really unfounded, but I know everybody has opinions, and we're not here to like handle everybody's opinions about Jamie Mustard. I find it really disheartening that both foundations are summarily dismissing people offhand from getting this treatment, who via like watching Ree, who, by the way, is a therapist, is a licensed mental health professional in Australia. Okay.
Well, you should feel better, because we do not summarily dismiss any requests for the shots and never have. Okay. There was a guy that, as you know, well, if you haven't finished the book, I'm sure you got to this part where the shots are always supposed to be used in conjunction with long-term mental health treatment.
Correct. This is not, and I've told people,
hold on, we've literally never disapproved someone for the shots. Okay. So we received an application from someone in Canada. I can't remember if he was XSO or just XSO. I feel like he was XSO. And he was asking, he was inquiring for funding for the shots. And he had one therapy appointment in his entire life. And I was already getting very disenchanted with how heavily this thing was being promoted by someone who has an incentive to promote it in this very small community.
But also, I know, but I want to dispel that rumor. What? Jamie doesn't get any money from anybody who goes.
Incentive. I didn't say a financial incentive.
He doesn't have any incentive to do it.
That's not true. He wrote the fucking book on it. There's a fucking incentive.
But he's not selling his book. You don't even have to buy the book and read it to get the shots. So that's a false premise, though. That's a false premise, though.
But honestly, all you're doing is repeating what Jamie said, and you don't even have a way of knowing if it's true.
I'm not. Okay.
You have no way of knowing if
you have evidence that he's getting, but I'm asking you, if you're going to make an accusation, do you have evidence that he's financially or otherwise benefiting from people getting the shots from random places around the world?
No.
Okay, then it shouldn't be a thing that we're putting out there. That's what I'm saying.
He wrote the book. There's an incentive.
Correct.
He wrote the book. There's an incentive.
What's the incentive to get people to go to a place that he gets no financial benefit from?
Well, I'm going to start by acknowledging I don't have any evidence he gets financial kickbacks.
Okay. So then what's the incentive?
I will explain it this way. Okay. He wrote the book with, I guess, a co-author or an endorser or a ghost
It's a
signer.
doctor. It's a doctor.
I know it's a doctor, but the doctor didn't write the book, so I don't know what the doctor's name is on the book for.
Lipov, because he's the doctor who did the study.
I don't know why the doctor's name is on the book, though. Unless it was just... It's like if the doctor wants to put his name on the book, like meaning Jamie doesn't represent that the doctor co-wrote the book. So why is the doctor's name on the book?
But he does represent that the doctor co-wrote the book.
It's not clear to me from listening to the book what portions of this book are not just Jamie's narrative. I don't recall I don't recall a portion of the book that's like, this is now the doctor speaking. I just, and I could be misremembering it, but
yeah,
my point, but hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
But don't speak for Jamie.
I'm not, I'm speaking for the book. Go look at the book. It's by both of them. That's what the publisher of the book.
The doctor's name is on the book. What I'm telling you is, having listened to it, I can't tell why the doctor's name is on the book. Okay. So he wrote a book that seems to be co-written by a doctor who runs a series of medical clinics. It's not just he did some studies. He runs some clinics, and there's at least a relationship incentive. Jamie started out by referring everyone to the fucking place in Chicago. You didn't go to the place in Chicago. You got it for much cheaper, closer to you. Okay. Yeah. So Jamie started out by referring everyone to this very expensive place in Chicago. And all I'm saying is, even if he's not getting a financial kickback, there is a reputational incentive that he has to be like, hey, doctor, remember that book we co-wrote together? Look what I'm doing. I'm generating tons of business for you. Do I believe that's just so Jamie can get a pat on the fucking head? I don't believe that, but I don't care.
Also, just so you know, like Jamie, just because he and I have talked about this, and we've worked to try and help other people get the shots that they don't qualify, like they're just not ex-Scientologists or whatever, to find a better, like one of the things that he said to me before I decided to get the shots was, I don't want you to go to the Stella Center, not because Dr. Lipov is bad or anything. He's like, it's too expensive there. I want to find somewhere that's cheaper. But right now, that's like the place to go, is the place in Chicago. And so I found the place here where I'm at, that I did some research on the guy. And then Jamie was like, I want to talk to him first to check out, make sure he's, really knows what he's doing. And it turns out the guy that I found.
Does Jamie know if a doctor knows what he's doing?
By that, I'm going to say this. He wanted to ask him what his approach was to
a non-physician is going to ask a physician.
Yes, because of his years of research into. Because, well, let me finish though. Because of his years of research into the results before even publishing the book, and because of his, how he feels attached.
I know you like and trust Jamie, and I'm not here to change your mind.
No, I understand that.
A physician should be doing this, not a marketing PR specialist.
Right, and Jamie didn't accompany me to my shots. I talked to this physician. You have a whole hour-long presentation, and I got his presentation on the medical efficacy of the shots, how it works, the whole rundown from the doctor.
We have to fast forward this part.
No, I know. So I'm just saying.
I don't. If you want me to stipulate that I can't prove Jamie has a financial incentive, I will stipulate that.
Okay.
Okay. The fact is, we got an application from a guy who in his entire life had one therapy session. In talking to him at length, which is what I do to everyone who applies to the SPTV Foundation for money, it became also clear that this was a man of financial means. And that was just a data point. It wasn't a decision point. It was just a data point. And I said, I'll tell you what, here's what I actually want you to do. I want you to, the next time you go in to see your therapist, I want you to ask her for her opinion. It was a brand new therapist. You've only seen her once. Ask her if she's ever heard of these procedures. Ask her for her opinion. If she doesn't have an opinion, ask her if she's willing to review any of the data, so that the next time you go and see her, she can, as your therapist, give you an opinion. He said, great, I'll do it. Guess what, Nora? Never heard from him again until you're doing videos about how we don't help people. Never heard from the guy again?
Correct.
Never heard from him again?
Yeah, that's not the perception that he got from your conversation.
No, no. The guy never came back to me.
No, but I understand he didn't. I understand he didn't come back to you. I understand that he didn't
come back to me. Actually,
okay,
I wanted to.
What did he say?
He said, by the way, I have my next therapy appointment scheduled. It's been a while because I was distracted with this and I was distracted with that. And at my next therapy appointment, I'm going to ask the question. I said, great. Never heard from him again. So my only point is this idea that you have that we are no longer approving people for shots. We're not even considering it. It's not an option, or that we've ever disapproved somebody is not true.
Okay. Well, the perception from that particular person who applied is not the same that you had from the conversation.
Well, can I ask you a question? Hold on. Please let me ask you a question. Please.
Sure.
If this person had that perception, please tell me, Nora, why didn't they call me back and talk to me, and why they emailed you instead just to talk shit about the foundation?
I don't know.
It's a little weird though, isn't it? It's a little weird though.
No, I don't think it's weird at all, Aaron, because
but hold on. But you keep speaking for this person and what their perception was.
No, I'm just saying from the conversation that I had with them via email, that was not the perception that they had. Right. So the perception that when they relayed to me the conversation that you just relayed right now.
But it seems like it could have been a plant, doesn't it? Because I'm telling you, this person was never disapproved.
Okay.
The person
I'm not
even
debating that. I'm not debating that.
It seems like it could have been a plant, doesn't it?
No, it didn't feel like that to me because I'd already been having conversations with this person about a myriad of things.
Before they applied?
Yes.
See, I never knew that.
Okay.
So
I already had
did you send them into us?
I basically had like a relationship with this person because they're XSO and we were talking about XSO stuff and like things I had brought up in my streams about certain things. It was like, oh, you know what? And they were sending me
all my conversations with this person. They never told me they ever knew you or spoke to you. So honestly, it feels pretty fucking weird.
Okay. That's their, I mean, I don't, maybe by the time they reached out to you, we were already beefing. I don't know. Listen, here.
No, we were already beefing.
Okay. We were already beefing. So probably they thought mentioning me was probably not going to get them, the red carpetry, but I don't know, like they wanted help, right? They wanted help. And so they're probably like, I'm just going to not mention Nora and then they'll probably help me. And that's fine.
Can I say one more thing on this? I know you got to leave in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
I even reached out to this person after I saw you doing a video about them and being like, hey, I just wanted to reach out. Is there some misunderstanding? I thought I was waiting for you to go to your therapist and then get back to me. Never responded. Does that seem like normal behavior?
That's their choice. I mean, like, here's the thing that I'm learning in recent times is that I can only be responsible for, and this is probably kind of what you were trying to tell me about Zero Dark Tony and other stuff earlier, but like I can only be responsible for my words and actions. And I said this in my video the other day that like 2023 and 2024 happened. I said a lot of shit. I said a lot of shit about a lot of different people. I'm not going to take down those videos because that's how I felt at that time. At that time, I was being sincere. I was being overwhelmed with emotion and other things. It's not an excuse. It's just that's what was happening, right? And I feel like for the sake of the journey that I'm on, the healing journey that I'm on, it's important to me to be like, I'm not that anymore, which is also why I reached out to you today because yesterday there was a very important moment where you and Jenna and Serge and Michael and one of the Jane Does was at the police commission meeting. Okay. And it's important because I've called in a couple times to those meetings, getting anything on the record at all that we can get on the record. I haven't been let into a police commission meeting because of like scheduling, but anyway, is extremely important. I thought that everything that you guys said was extremely important. And what my feelings, okay, about this are twofold. The first thing that I was really upset, and I'll tell you why I was upset.
Yeah.
Because I have never not supported the Jane Does, never not supported any of the cases that are out there, and there is no chance of, and I think you know me well enough to know that there would be no chance in hell that I would not support or be a voice for that important moment, no matter what was happening between the two of us. Right. And I felt like, there have been people that have been on the ground every single day, particularly Audit LA, who had no idea that the LA Times was going to be there that day. And also, to bring Swatty into the mix here for just a minute.
Wait, was she supposed to know?
Okay, this is where you and I differ again. Here's a woman who has spent No. Hang on. Here's a woman who has spent every single day.
It's not a comment on Audit LA.
Right. So this
plan was not broadcast to everyone. I don't chat with Audit LA. I've met her a couple times. She's not part of my inner circle.
Did you let her know when you saw her there when you sat down?
we didn't let anyone know anything. The LA Times, what would she have done with that? I don't even understand the point.
Okay. Here's the deal. When people know that, because there's usually nobody at the meetings. It's just the fucking council members, and there'll be like 5 or 6 people in the gallery. Okay. And there's usually one guy who shows up in a Batman costume just to say bullshit. It's like wild.
I was told there's a puppet guy as well.
Yeah, there's a puppet guy as well, right? So the fact that someone from the LA Times was going to be there and things were going to be on the record, essentially, they're on the record on the committee, but you know what I mean? Like on the public record that people pay attention to in some capacity.
Here's where it gets complicated, Nora. I'm sorry if you want me to stop interrupting you.
That's okay.
We're very quickly going down the slope of who should have been given information that we didn't want everyone to have. Who is it that we can trust not to give information to people we don't want to show up, like fucking bucket shitter Scott Swatty Hochstetter?
I really wish you would stop with the bucket shitting. Like, honestly, let's if we're gonna talk, here's the deal. If we're gonna talk about people,
we're just going down the slope of how come I didn't tell somebody I don't know that an LA Times reporter. What are you talking about?
First of all, Audit LA. I'm not all. You should know Audit LA. I don't know why you don't.
She's met her. I know who she is, but I've met her once.
But why don't you talk to her?
Why don't I? There's probably 80% of people in this community I don't talk to. Do I? What?
Right, but why?
But
this is my question to you. Like, why not? Why aren't you coordinating with her a little bit on the ground? Because she's on the ground in LA. She's on the ground. Coordinating
what? Coordinating what Scientology video I'm going to do today?
No, Aaron, maybe have her on and talk about the progress that she's made, and maybe talk about, the things that have happened on the ground because of the work that she and Mona have done and things like that. But going back to Scott for a second here, what my major problem is that, and here's where you and I totally disagree. I thought originally, and I said a lot of shit about it. I don't think Scott is the reason why people have stopped protesting. I think some people have said, well, that guy, this, that, and the other thing, and they stopped, and there was the whole 86 GOP thing, and I still don't understand all of that. Yeah. But
even if you have an important point to make here, is this the point we want to make at this time?
Well, here's what I want to say.
Because the one thing I'll say is this was not my plan.
Right.
I'm not the one who put this event together. It's not my place.
Who put the event together then?
It's not. Someday that will come out. It's not my place to say, but it's not my place. There were many people that I wanted to tell that I was told no, because other people aren't telling other people, and people will get, this person will get pissed off and this person will get pissed off. It's not my plan. Okay. But the point is, so I guess I just wanted you to know that. But how about we go back to the first place that I interrupted you, and okay, where you were saying something about Audit LA wasn't told, and then I interrupted you. So let's go back to that.
I feel like that was a little rude, because she's there on the ground every day, literally getting Scientology on the record every single day at every meeting possible in Los Angeles.
So it was rude to what?
To not give her a heads up, to not say,
when was she supposed to get the heads up?
You could have even told her when you guys came in and just been like, hey, can I take you aside for a second? I want to tell you what's up today. To, put your stream on mute. I want you to know, all of us are here. We have, a very important, we have a press pack. I'm going to give you, and she would have helped you get those press packs in everybody's hands.
We did get the press packs in everybody's hands.
But I'm just saying okay. So when
she spoke.
No, she speaks every day. Of course she spoke. I understand that.
So what would giving her that information have changed anything at all?
What giving her that information would have changed? Number one, it would have given her respect, because she's earned it. She's earned respect.
Do you want to know what respect I gave her? I walked in the room and I gave her a big giant hug, and I said hi to her, and I said hi to her chat. That's how I show respect.
But you didn't respect her enough to say, oh, by the way, it's kind of a big deal today, and here's what's happening.
I didn't tell anyone.
It doesn't, but Aaron, that's the person you tell. And also, and I'm going to say something controversial here about Scott. Okay. If I had known that that's what you guys were doing on that day, okay, yeah, I would have personally told Scotty, don't do anything today. If I had known, I would have been calling him over and over until he picked up, because
I believe you.
As soon as he didn't know that's
Nora,
what was
you
happening.
and I haven't spoken in 6 fucking months. I
know
wasn't
that.
going to tell you and ask you to tell Scott not to come.
I understand that, but there's other people that were in that room that definitely could have told me, and they didn't tell me either. So
did you ask them why? Have you asked them why?
Probably because they're pissed off with me, and that's fine. People get to have. Here's the deal, though. People get to have their own emotions, and they get to have their own feelings about certain things, and that's totally fine with me. But also, that includes Scott. And do I agree or not agree? Frankly, I'll be honest with you. I didn't hear everything that he said at the thing. Like I was in an appointment because I was in an appointment. The reason why I can't call into that particular meeting is I have a standing appointment, and my last one's on Friday, but I've had a standing appointment for 6 weeks at 9:30 in the morning that takes me past 10. And then I can't, get my hand in the Zoom early enough for me to be part of the queue, right?
Oh, I meant on the replay. Have you still not heard it?
No, I didn't. Because why haven't I? Because part of my being respectful of my mental health, to me, is trying to not get sucked into the shenanigans. Like when I was in his chat earlier, when he was driving to where I didn't know where he was going. Usually I pop it in. This secret's being told right now, guys. Sometimes I pop into people's chats. I see that they're doing something and I'm like, hey, and then like 5 people say hi to me. And then I go about doing something else because I'm usually editing or I'm cooking dinner or I'm doing something else. I can't, guys, it's so many hours of stuff. I can't possibly watch it. So when I had popped into Scotty's stream and said, good luck today, I didn't know what he was doing. I just meant like good luck in general. Like don't fucking die, because, like good luck. And he was driving. I didn't know where he was. I thought he was going to the courthouse because I saw that he was like near Hill Street or whatever. And I was like, oh, is there a court thing happening today? And then I got confused on it that I had to go to my appointment. So I didn't know until later that he was streaming inside the thing. And then I was like, oh my God, they're all in the thing. And he's right behind Aaron and Jenna. And that's, no, Streets was right behind you. And I will say this, I just do want to say one thing. While you guys were commenting of what I saw on his stream, he was not speaking. He was not like bull baiting you guys or anything while you were speaking. Okay. And then the opposite happened when he went up on Streets' stream. Like Streets was doing a running commentary about Scott before he even opened his mouth, which I found to be a little bit childish because maybe if the shit out of Streets' mouth, I'm just going to say it, hadn't come at Scott, it might have been a different result. Because when we all get pushed, when we all get, fucking made fun of and other things, that changes our mind sometimes, not for the better. I've definitely been in that scenario where I react to chat and I pull up a fucking chat and I'm like, oh, you want it? It's on like fucking Donkey Kong. I can't speak to Scott's mind or what he went there to say, or if that was what he went there to say or whatever. I think that
everything you're saying, it makes perfect sense to me and seems totally sensible.
Yeah.
If because I know the reason you haven't done it is because you don't want to get sucked into the shenanigans. But honestly, you should watch Scott's stream from the moment he walked into the room. I don't think you'll like what you see. I don't think you'd be talking about I don't think you'd be talking about whether Streets hurt Scott's feelings.
But was he saying things to you guys besides I did hear about him shouting at you to not abuse women.
Then don't say he didn't say anything.
Okay, but he didn't say anything while you were talking. That was when you were done.
Okay, I mean, are there rules?
But I'm just saying, no. But there's a difference. Yes, he did. He did shout at you. He shouted at you. He didn't shout at Jenna. He didn't shout at Serge. He didn't. But I'm just saying that the point was, Scotty went there.
I don't control Streets either, Nora.
I know that. I'm not putting Streets on you.
Bull baiting Scott while Scott's talking doesn't justify Scott counter protesting ex-Scientologists.
I think he was just there to counter protest you. I don't think he was there.
I'm an ex-Scientologist.
I understand that.
Stop acting like I'm the only one who doesn't count.
You do count. I'm just saying.
Then stop saying it.
I know, but when you say he's there to counter protest ex-Scientologists as a group,
shit to Jenna too. She counts too.
What I missed? I didn't see that.
Watch the fucking stream.
Okay, I'll watch the stream. Okay. I'll watch the stream. I'm not gonna not watch the stream. I understand why you're upset.
Defending him here when you haven't seen the stream.
Trying to listen. I'm not responsible for anything Scott said. I'm not in charge of him. I would have, like I said, I would have advised him to not.
But you defend him.
I defend the fact that you have a right to have your opinion about Scott. I have the right to have my opinion about Scott. Laura has the right to have her opinion about. Everybody has the right to have their own opinion. I have said very publicly, I don't agree with everything that he does as a protester. I have called him out about that.
That's way too general and mealy-mouthed to have any significance.
But it's not mealy-mouthed, though. Like I've said specifically what I did like.
Everything he does. Okay, well then,
no, I don't.
Do you agree? Do you agree with him showing up to a meeting where you have 4 ex-Sea Org members going on the record at the LAPD commissioners meeting about the cover-up of child sex abuse in Scientology as a part of a greater organized effort to actually create meaningful change? And Scott Hochstetter gets up there to insult, because you haven't seen the video, all ex-Scientologists. He doesn't say anything.
Includes me too. So yeah,
he doesn't say anything. He could have gotten up there and made a speech in defense of Laura and everyone. Instead, he makes shit comments about the foundation, about me, about 86 GOP, about all ex-Scientologists, and you're honestly just defending him.
Well, if he said it about, I mean, that's me too. I mean, I'm in that group that he then put down, and so I will. My solution to that, honestly, would be, because I am on speaking terms with him, would be to have a conversation about that and be like, and talk out my feelings with him about that after I watch it.
But honestly, you don't even want to watch his video because you don't want to get sucked into the drama, but you end up apologizing for the guy.
I didn't want to watch the video because of you, Aaron. I'll be honest. Because
what do you mean? What do you mean?
No, because I'm pissed. Because listen, I fucking hate Zero Dark Tony, but I disagree vehemently with your interaction with him outside the courtroom. I really found that to be distasteful.
Talk about that when you get back from your appointment. If you
I mean, I have a couple extra minutes, but like, okay. I vehemently disagree with how you went about that.
I'm shocked. I'm literally shocked that you would say that. Is that your
shocked face?
No, I'm honestly fucking shocked that you would not. After everything Zero Dark Tony's done to everyone in this community for the last 2 years, I go up and give him a taste of his own fucking medicine, and you're outraged?
I'm not outraged, Aaron. What I am is I in watching the clip from Eric Levi, who was at a different viewpoint, showing how close you were to Anthony and his mother,
to Anthony. I never got on the side of his mother. I stayed on Anthony's side.
Okay, well, watch Eric Levi's clip. Okay. I'll send it to you. You were extremely close to both of those individuals, mostly to Tony. The Eric Levi clip is only 23 seconds. It's 23 seconds. Right.
His mom, him, me.
Okay. But either way, Aaron, you were within closer than arm's length to Tony most of that interaction.
Because I had to put the microphone close enough so that you can talk into it.
Right. I understand what you were thinking about it. But when I watched that interaction, I did think it was straight comedy, you running around the building. That was kind of hilarious. But, and him being like such a chicken shit. And we all saw his mom hit you. There was no like extra secret karate move that you did on the low. Like that whole thing is so insane to me. I mean, Anthony's reaction to the whole interaction has been nothing short of Looney Tunes. Okay, like the clavicle, the knee, the fucking heart, like the whole thing. And I did point out, because when I did my video about it, I said, we're not going to talk about Aaron. We're going to talk about this man leading dragging his fucking 76-year-old mom up and down the street like a rag doll and telling her to shut the fuck up. Like I'm still
confused. Like, did he not know where they parked? Like, I still don't understand.
No, he did not know. And she was so flustered. She had no idea. So they just went back in the building, which is like what they should have, If
But
that
Nora,
were,
after everything that's happened, how can
after
you even say
everything
that
that
you,
happened,
you're
here's my
upset on behalf
problem.
of Zero Dark Tony?
No. I'm not on behalf of him. Here's what I'm upset about is that his case to me is so important to be able to have one taste of justice. And I am fearful that that type of aggressive interaction, in my opinion, between you and him out in front of the courthouse will make him sympathetic to the judge. And
you're wrong.
I'm telling you my feelings. I'm just telling, whether I'm right or wrong is irrelevant. These are my feelings. So they're real to me. Okay. And watching that occur, I felt like it wasn't helping. Because at the moment when you got up to him and you got a couple questions in and he was being a dick and he was like, don't follow me. In my personal opinion, you should have stayed back and kept asking him questions if you wanted, but you shouldn't have been as close. That's my personal opinion on it.
You're actually correct. I have been informed by people whose opinion I need to take that even the paparazzi, there is a line. You usually do not cross the street with the person. And that in the future, it would be better if that interaction did not last for as long as it did. And after thinking about it, I was like, yeah, you're right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that I'm worried about in that instance was, everyone's coming up with theories about his mom. I don't know his mom. She's a holistic
scam artist. She's
a holistic psychologist. That's not a real thing. I mean, whatever. So the apple hasn't fallen that far from the tree. But what I'm worried about, I'm not worried about him suing you because he's so full of shit. Like,
he's not going to sue me.
No, because
I wish he would.
Okay, can we clarify that? Are you suing me?
No.
Right. Okay. There we go.
Not after this chat.
Not after this. Oh, shwoo. Okay.
I'm going to have to call the lawyer right when we get off and be like, cancel the mail. Marked safe.
Wow. Okay. No, but like that's what I worry about is that to me, because I can't bring a case, I've basically been told I have to go to the FBI or I have to like sue him civilly, which would be a waste of time since he has nothing. That this is like the one hope that I have that this man will be in jail, and not because I want him to get harm in jail. I just want him off fucking social media. Like when you're in jail, you ain't running no fucking Rumble show and shit and spreading your filth all over the place. I mean, he might put on a show.
It's funny. I didn't report this. That's actually one of the things the prosecutor asked for, was not just for him not to be able to say their names, but for him to actually not have any access to social media until the next hearing. And
what the judge say?
The judge said no, but that's why she put such strong rules in place.
Okay. Yeah, because he's on Rumble.
And I truly believe that by Tony letting his live chat continue to drag Solomon and his mom, this guy's going to prison on March.
Oh, yeah. No. From your description and Dodge's description of what the judge's demeanor was to both Tony and his lawyer, who, by the way, looks like a steroids commercial, but like, yeah, I was like, oh, this guy's goose is cooked. Except for this guy, like if I went to his website and you watch his little like infomercial, like I get everybody off, like I was like, okay, this guy is frightening. He's like the Joe Rogan of lawyers, like he's just,
Yeah, he's a big guy. I saw him in person. He's a big dude.
He's like one of those guys that if he flexes too much, that suit's gonna like pop right off. It's gonna just whoop. But I think, okay, so let's wrap this up in a bow because I do got to drive across town here for an appointment. But so what can you and I do to have the community, the group of people who watch both of us, what do you think that you and I could do to make this like a more inclusive, like my vision is like an inclusive, participatory space where we're all not, you know, like we talked about this when SPTV started, and it was like, I wanted a schedule. I wanted us to have like channels and as a schedule, like a TV guide. And you were like, that's not a no. And that was wrong. I was wrong on that because, you know, Scientology is trying to call us a gang and shit. And we're not a gang. We're definitely, you know, we're not even always talking. So that wouldn't even really work. But is there anything that we can do moving forward to, you know, besides like taking personal responsibility and not like starting shit? I understand that. But like, you know, that we can do as adults in the room to make this like focused on whatever we're focusing on, the crimes of Scientology, etc.
Yeah, you can stop supporting Scott Hochstetter. I mean, I think you think I'm just being.
But see, here's
oh no, you think I'm just being petty?
No, I do think you're being a bit petty right now.
I'm not being petty. I'm being very serious.
Okay. Okay.
Scott Hochstetter's entire content is who am I going to shit on and insult and name a bad actor today, and it's nonstop. And you and others continue to support it.
I don't see it like that. I mean, that's you and I have completely different perceptions.
I don't know how.
I had a completely different perception when Scotty was shitting on me, and
so now that he's not shitting on you, that's all that matters.
It wasn't just the not shitting on me, because before I even spoke to him, and it's not like I talked to him every day or anything like that. Before I even spoke to him, when you made your video, and then I had a complete emotional breakdown about that video, he sent me an apology. It was a very sincere apology. It was not like, I'm sorry I hurt your, you know, I'm sorry your feelings got hurt.
He was making fun of you just days ago.
Right. He was making fun of
apologies.
Wait, what are you talking about?
He was making fun of you just days ago in one of his videos.
I didn't see it. I don't watch everybody's content, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still support the guy?
Okay. I support, here's how I look at it. I support anybody who's willing to go out and tell people that Scientology is a fucking cult.
Why? You're going to support anyone willing to do that? That's not good.
Why?
Well, fuck, you haven't been supporting me for the last 6 months, and I do that. So clearly you're not willing to support anyone.
But I don't feel like you're doing that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I feel like you're having a pizza party on a corner with a fucking cardboard cutout of Tom Cruise for clickbait and just sitting around talking shit about people.
Well, I guess you don't watch my streams then either.
Well, I have watched a few of them, and the ones I tuned in, that's what you were doing.
Okay. Well, I know you didn't mean to open up. I know you didn't mean to. I know you didn't mean to open up a can of worms, but the fact that you want to minimize the 1.5 million impressions or views I get a month talking about Scientology being a family destroying human trafficking cult, but you want to give Scott credit for screaming at Sea Org members to get back into the building. I feel like we're not even having the same conversation.
Yeah, I don't. And I've told him I don't like that. I think that's bad.
But that's what he does.
He doesn't only just do that though. He does that and other things.
You're right. Sometimes he jumps behind news reporters and says, Scientology's a cult. Look, I did something special. The fact that I feel like we're not even having the same conversation. Like, no, well, you can't seriously say, I support anyone who's out there doing something. Okay, Scott has destroyed the fucking community. I don't like, so I feel like you want to be like, what can we do to bring, be more inclusive? You can stop supporting Scott Hochstetter. We're perfectly inclusive. Tell me someone who's not being inclusive other than Scott Hochstetter. I made it clear months ago that the guy's so destructive and toxic that I won't support him or anyone who supports what he's doing. I laid that line down for myself on my channel clearly many months ago.
And I think, yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have to look at other things.
And Nora, that was before he showed up. That was before he showed up to make a circus out of an effort to get Scientology held accountable for child sex crimes. And instead of showing up and talking about child sex crimes in Scientology, he showed up to insult ex-Scientologists to their faces.
Okay. And that was a bad decision. That was not the moment to do that. If that's what he thought he wanted to do.
Nothing but celebrate since. And I haven't heard any of his normal supporters condemn him for it.
I see what you're saying. What you're saying. Yeah. They've been
celebrating the whole time.
I will watch all of the stuff. I will fully watch it because I didn't. I will fully watch it. And then I will, I will decide what I'm going to say about that, because
And
I'm
those
trying
normal supporters who have not condemned him, include Mirjam in Denmark
It's
and T.
Miriam.
Perth Scientology audit. It includes you too. That's why I named you last night.
No, I understand. I understand you're very heated, but you also have to understand that, well, let's circle back to the leadership thing. Part of what you've argued with me about and pushed back on when I've said things about you is that you're not a leader. No one should put you as a leader. You didn't elect yourself a leader. That's all bullshit, right? But the fact that you said that very casually while waiting in the airport last night, right? And then doubled down on it in a comment section in Kelly's comments, right? The mass effect that has had, right? Less so for me.
She gained subscribers, Nora.
Who did?
T.
No, she did not.
She gained 100 subscribers. Check Social Blade. Because you want to know
what?
Do you want to know why she gained subscribers? Do you want to know why? Because she jumped over to DOA's chat and cried that she was being canceled. And DOA told all of his members to subscribe to T. And then she's like, "Thank you for your support, DOA. Thank you."
Right, because she lost a shit ton of subscribers, and people
Look at
sent her
Social Blade, Nora. What did she lose? 10?
Okay. Here's the other thing that you don't see. It's like when people email people to tell them or leave comments in the comment section, which I've gotten several of just today after your announcements about go fuck yourself and all this weird other stuff because of what you said. Like what you say has a huge effect on I know, but on your followers and people who are mutually subscribed and membered and blah, 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 blah.
But Nora,
so like there's a little bit of responsibility in that. I understand that you don't want to platform Scott. You don't want to support him. And you're setting a personal boundary that you are not going to support anybody who's supporting him. And that's okay. Right? It's okay to have a personal boundary.
Nora, you need to let me get a word in if you're going to do a monologue.
I know, but Aaron, you did a lot and then you interrupted me a bunch of times. I'm just trying to like make a point here, but go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I said 5 seconds worth of what I said. And instead of doing a 3-hour reaction video of how terrible I am for having said that, T could have actually put up a 10-minute video saying, "There's been a misunderstanding. It wasn't me, but I'll tell you what, I watched the footage and I'm horrified. And I'm horrified that someone thinks I supported that and I don't support it and I condemn it." And I would have been like, "I'm really sorry." Instead, she put up a 3-hour video about what a piece of shit I am. So let's not mix words here, okay? Let's not.
I didn't see her video either. I said I didn't see the whole video. I wrote in her chat and you can see it catching up on 2X. And then I started getting messages from other people. Aaron, I have a whole ass life too. I have 4 kids. I have to get out the door every day.
I understand, but knowing that you don't actually watch all this stuff and knowing that you don't actually see what's going on, you still defend and apologize and speak for people when you don't actually have the information.
But I'm not. But see, that's where I don't feel like I've defended or apologized for anybody.
You're like, it was so terrible what you did to T. You know what? T could have actually said,
I didn't say
I don't specifically.
Support it. I just said that when you say words, when you set your boundary in that way, right, which was very emphatic, that has a ripple effect for all of the other smaller channels. Even if you hadn't named, named names, okay, your chat and your fans are very loyal to you, and they will go out. You didn't say, you kind of did say a little bit that, go tell people.
I said ask people if they support it.
Right, but okay. But that's kind of giving an action item to your chat to
ask them if they support it. I meant it.
Right.
I said ask them if they support it.
Okay. So when you do that, when you give chat or your group of supporters an action item to go and do on your behalf, that has negative ripple effects because people don't ask questions. They didn't ask questions. They came into people's chats and into my comment section and into my emails saying, "I can't believe you support Scotty. You're a scumbag piece of shit, bitch. Fuck you." Like,
welcome to YouTube.
No, I understand.
I deal with it 100. Nora, I deal with it 100 times more than any of you.
I don't know about that.
I do. I
don't know about that.
But let me make one little statement here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forgot what it was. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It was okay. I may not be the leader of the community.
Sure.
But I do have power in the community. And the power that I wielded intentionally. And I was very clear in my chat last night that I was very disappointed in who I saw in Scott's live chat, supporting him in the live chat after he had just counter-protested ex-Scientologists doing real work to expose child sex abuse. So if people are I'm like, oh my God, but Aaron, you wield power. I know. That's why I wielded the power that way. I think it's horrific that Mirjam in Denmark, Scientology Up North, has not condemned Scott for what he did. I think it's horrific. Let me finish, please.
Okay.
I think it's horrific that T-Perth Scientology audit did 3 hours saying what a piece of shit I was, instead of taking the 10 minutes to watch Scott's video and then saying, you know what? There's been a misunderstanding. I wasn't in his live chat, but just for the record, I condemn what Scott did. If she did that, we'd be having a different conversation.
I know, but she did say it wasn't her, and she was really upset that you just automatically thought it was her and didn't ask her.
It's not that I automatically thought it was her. It's that her profile was in the chat. She's saying it was a cloned profile.
It was a cloned profile.
It's not reasonable for me to see someone's profile in this community in the chat and then just check with them. Someone who, by the way, I already know. You don't know this. Maybe you do know this. You know that T-Perth Scientology audit is literally Lindsay's moderator, right?
I don't know who moderates Lindsay, but you're telling me.
Then there's
so
a news flash for you. Yeah. We're not just talking about some nice little innocent person who minds her own business and is not involved in drama.
Okay.
So when I see her in Scott's live chat, there's no part of me that's like, I wonder if that's really her.
Okay.
So now she gained subs. Let's stop acting like she's been harmed. So, but if she actually cared about peace or being understood, instead of doing a 3 hours of live chat about what a abusive, horrible piece of shit I am, she could have actually contacted me privately and said, Aaron, I think there's been a mistake.
Right.
Okay. Or she could have even taken the 10 minutes to watch the video.
But also you could have contacted her privately and been like, is that really you in the fucking chat? Because what you're doing right now is upset. Because here's the deal. This is part of the problem that keeps happening, that I have been changing my behavior. And part of why I got really upset, especially when you did the I'm suing Nora Ames video, I hadn't said jack shit about you for like a week. I had taken time off of YouTube. I was literally, and my mods will attest to this, I had an hour-long video call with them where I was like, listen, guys, we're going to stop talking about Aaron. We're moving on from that. We're going in a totally different direction. We are like, I'm going to, we're completely pivoting. I'm just taking the weekend to try and fucking sort my brain out because I feel like shit. And I want to I want this channel, my channel, to be productive and to be important in taking down Scientology and keeping that message, but also healing from cults in general. And that's what I want to really focus on. And we had this whole back and forth for an hour. We talked about that. And then I was prepared on Monday to be like, guys, here's the sitch.
Can I tell you what prompted it?
Go ahead.
When you were outside protesting outside of Baby Blue in your live stream for no reason whatsoever, nothing to do with anything, you once again called the foundation a fake foundation. And that's when it
wasn't once again to do with nothing. It was in response to a question.
That's what I mean. You're just responding to questions that you choose to respond to. That's what I mean. It had nothing to do with anything you were actually out there for. You once again called the foundation a fake foundation. And you're saying it was even after you did a chat with your moderators.
No, that was before. That was before the chat with my moderators, because I know
you have to go soon. But let me just say
that protest happened, and then Nora, I didn't do any more content.
Nora,
for the whole weekend. And I didn't do a response video to your suing video, did I?
Nora, that's fine.
But I didn't though.
Nora, come on. Here's the one thing. You don't hold your friends anywhere close to the standard you seem to hold me to. And if your justification for it is you've got more subs than everybody else, I'm sorry.
No, that has nothing to do with anything. If you had one sub, I would have had the same amount of
you would have held me to a higher standard than everyone else, even if I had one sub.
Yes, because you're the president of a foundation.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
The foundation and YouTube are the fact that I have a YouTube channel. No, stop. The fact that I have a YouTube channel and use my channel the way that I want to use my channel is different than whether I am the president of a foundation that helps people leaving Scientology. Like, you have to stop.
But it's not because you married your channel to the foundation.
All right, we disagree.
Well, you did. That's your bio, is your channel, and that's actually, legally.
We don't disagree on the. We don't disagree on the data. We disagree on how you interpret the data, and that's fine.
Okay. So the foundation, I'm willing to say publicly, the foundation is a real foundation. You guys are actually helping real people, not just me who got help. You're not fake. It's not fake news, but it is a conflict of interest legally.
It's not a conflict of interest. You don't know what the word means. It's not a conflict.
I do know what conflict of interest is.
No, you think you know what it means, but you don't. It's not a conflict of interest.
To have your for-profit YouTube your bio on your nonprofit. The only reason anybody even
knows about the foundation is because we promote it on YouTube. The fact that the foundation website links back to YouTube is not a conflict of interest.
But it doesn't link to the foundation YouTube. It links to your personal YouTube.
Our profiles link to our personal YouTube.
Correct. And they should link to a bio that describes
that's just how you feel. You're not.
No, that's not how I feel.
You're right, but you don't, you even admitted you do this. You think you know, but you don't know. And it's okay because we have grown-ups who are involved in what we do as well. You're not the only person who knows things.
I don't think I'm the only person that knows things. That would
like
be ridiculous.
You're the only person who knows things.
Well, I don't think I'm the only person that knows things. Absolutely not. I know I'm definitely not the only person who knows things.
For you to give me advice on how to run the foundation.
I didn't give you any advice on how to run the foundation. I gave you zero advice on how to run the foundation. I said that it's a conflict of interest to have your bio.
It's not
attached to your personal for-profit.
It's not. You just think that it is. It's not. How about this, Nora? It's your opinion that it is.
Have you consulted with a lawyer about that?
Nora, it's your opinion that it is. It's my opinion that it's not.
Okay, but have you consulted with a lawyer about that?
You don't need,
with a charity lawyer.
Nora, it's your opinion it's a conflict. It's my opinion it's not. Move on.
Okay.
You're not responsible for the foundation.
No, I'm absolutely not.
Conflict, I will deal with, and I'm the one accountable and responsible.
Right.
This is not what you want to spend our live stream talking to me about.
No, I agree. You are accountable and responsible for the fate of the foundation. And
I know, but you spent a lot of your videos acting like for my benefit and the foundation's benefit, you're going to tell all of us how we should be doing what we're doing.
Okay, well, that's your assessment of the videos. I felt like I was saying that I think that the purpose of the foundation is important. I still do think the purpose of the foundation is important, and that people need help when they leave Scientology, because none of us had any of that at all. There was nobody to talk to or find on YouTube, or, there was no, anything. When we left, that we were just on our own. Good luck, Chuck. So any form of help is better than no form of help. But the way I feel like things have gone down with some of that, I don't feel like it's all been help. And so, yeah.
Give me an example.
Okay. I feel like the way that, when things went down with Liz Ferris, as an example, and how that was dealt with publicly, I don't think that was something that any charitable organization should do in a public situation.
I disagree with you.
And in the same way that you weren't reacting to Tony D'Amato because you didn't think that anybody cared or listened, I think that you should have allowed Laura and Liz to have their discussion about it. And then as the president of the charitable foundation, have a private conversation with them about their feelings about it and sort it out that way. Because I don't think that as the president of a charitable foundation, handling something like that in public, I don't think that was good for the foundation. That was not something I did. that was an action that you did that a lot of people in the community at large still have a beef about.
I know, because people aren't allowed to say that Liz Ferris was and does lie her ass off.
Okay. But see, here, this is the thing again.
No,
right?
My being the president of the SPTV Foundation doesn't mean I'm not allowed to say that Liz Ferris lies her ass off.
It kind of is, though.
Nora, it's okay for you to have an opinion and for me to have an opinion that's different. Okay.
Right.
But you want me to just accept that you're right.
No,
the fact
I don't want you to accept that I'm right.
For the love of fucking Christ, please. So the first thing I want to say is Liz and Laura were perfectly capable of having that conversation by themselves. They didn't have to send me a link to bring me on. And I did have a private conversation with Liz Ferris earlier in the evening where what she said to me was 100% different than what she was saying in that video. Now, I will agree with you that it probably would have been better if I didn't say I want to come on and respond to this. But you have this idea, though, that being the president of the SPTV Foundation somehow puts me on some giant fucking pedestal or ties my hands in a way that, Nora, is just your opinion. And it is not fact.
And we definitely disagree on that, because I think that you bear a much higher responsibility than you are accepting as the president of a front-facing charity, because your words and actions, not only do you have wield power in this community because you have the largest channel, that's facts. That's not like I'm, anointing you with power, but as the president of any organization, you are then held to a higher standard, period.
What you just said is not true.
That is absolutely
Nora,
true.
That
in
is
society.
Just your opinion. And
no, that's not an opinion.
No,
there would
being
be
the president of something means nothing.
That is not. Then why didn't you just make yourself a board member? Why didn't you let somebody else be president?
Why didn't you just make yourself a board member?
Why take that title then if it means nothing?
It's not the title is irrelevant.
The title's not irrelevant, though. The title.
No, if you're going to ask me a question, could you let me answer the question?
I know, but Aaron, you've interrupted me like 20 times in a row. But
but you asked me a question.
Right. I am, and I'm disagreeing with your answer because the title is relevant. But go ahead.
Here, when I say it's irrelevant, I'm the president of the SPTV Foundation. Okay. Even when I was the vice president of the Aftermath Foundation, I was still the one doing all the work. Now, someone can come in and be like, well, you could have done all the work even if you were a board member. Yeah, I guess. But who starts an organization and says, hey, who wants to be the president? Usually whoever starts the organization is the president. I don't even understand what your point is.
But my point is this: when you're the president of something, the founder, the president, you are looked at as a representation of that thing. You are the face of that thing.
Of course, I agree.
Okay, so your actions, your words are a reflection of that organization of which you are president.
I don't greatly disagree with that. I'm okay with that.
So if you do wild shit, whatever that wild shit is, it's not a specific shit. But if you act a fool or if you do something that is untoward, that is then a reflection on your organization. So in that instance, when it was an organizational matter that you were addressing during that very specific live stream, that was a bad look for you as the president of that organization, and also a bad look for then the organization, because you have put yourself in that position of power. Because you've put yourself in that position of power, you started the organization.
It's not a position of power, Nora.
But it is a position of power.
Nora, you seem to be operating under the assumption, everyone in this community is capable of creating a nonprofit organization.
This is not a debate on whether or not people can make a
sentence.
Yeah, but it's not a debate on whether or not people can create an organization. Hell. You created one, and
if
you're the president of that. If you
the sentence, you'd actually know what point I was making.
Okay, go for it. I'm going to drink water so I don't talk.
It's not a position of power over a community. It's a position of power over the foundation itself. Okay? Having a foundation does not give you a responsibility to the entire community. The foundation isn't here to help the entire community. One of the reasons it's called the SPTV Foundation is because the people who support the foundation are the viewers and supporters of SPTV, which in large part are the viewers and supporters of my channel and the board members' channels for the most part. Okay. So me, in my opinion, going onto a channel where false and defamatory information is being put out about the foundation and saying, hey, I want to correct the record, you're lying. To me, it's up to the supporters of the foundation to decide if they think that makes it look good or bad. And it's up to them to decide if they want to continue supporting or not. You can think that personally I was being mean. You can think that that made you think less of the foundation, and that's okay. But you're kind of acting like being the president of a foundation or this foundation gives me some responsibility for our entire community. And it's not true, because anyone in the community can start their own foundation if they like. My viewers and the financial supporters of the foundation can choose with their money whether they want to keep supporting or not. And if you as a PR consultant want to tell me, Aaron, I think that was a bad look, you might have a very valid point. But for you to act like there was something inherently unethical about what I did, it's just your opinion, and I have a different one. Like, you're just not right. It's just your opinion.
Well, here's the deal. You can't tell me I'm not right, and it's just my opinion.
That's true.
Because
in my opinion, you're not right.
It has to be one or the other.
It's not. No, I know, but here's the thing. You don't state it as your opinion. You state it like you think, like you're claiming it's a fact, and it's not a fact. Because
here's the situation. If this were any other, the actions and words of any other founder, president of a front-facing charity for any purpose, they would be held to the same exact scrutiny to which I was holding you in those instances.
But you see, Nora, you continue to state things as if they're facts instead of as if they're your opinion.
That's not it's not a matter of opinion how society views someone.
You don't speak for all society, Nora.
But
you don't speak for all society.
No, you're right. I'm not the representative of Earth.
But honestly, Nora, and I'm not trying to be petty.
There'd be a lot of things that would be different right now. Nora, I can tell you that. Honestly,
one of the things that makes it, for me, the friction, it comes from you not stating things as your opinion, but acting like they're fact. And it's just not the case. Like, you're free to have whatever opinion you want, but when you state them as a fact, I'm going to come back and be like, you're wrong, because I've been running these foundations for 7 years. For you to lecture me on everything you know about it doesn't even make sense.
No, I'm not lecturing. This is where you and I are not having a clear communication. I don't pretend to know the inner workings of any foundation. I've never been on one. I don't know how they operate. I don't know all the rules around those things. My point is merely that when anyone is the president of something, whether that's a company, I would say, yeah, it's my opinion, but also, like, this is just how it goes. I mean, like,
no.
Do we not hold like the president of the United States to a certain standards because he has rules that he has to
Obviously
follow?
Not.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
you should be the first one to know that.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Like, listen, I'll be lucky if my marriage is still legal in a week. Okay, moving on. But, I'm serious. They're already passed the House. It's not even funny. It's not even a fucking joke. It's not even a joke. Okay.
Nora, stop putting people on pedestals. Come on.
I'm not. But here's the deal. When a person has a title like president, that title comes, but it is the definition of it. Like, let's just think about the essence of it. I'm serious about an organizational structure and about what that means when you're looking at that from a corporate structure viewpoint, from just straight business.
You could be the president of Nora Incorporated. Sure. It means nothing.
That's not true.
Yes, it does.
No, actually, it doesn't.
Nora, come on.
Legally, though, it doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean nothing. If that's the corporate structure and I'm the president and then that's the highest position in that corporation, I am the face of that corporation. I am in charge of everything that happens as a result of the actions of that corporation. And my actions are a direct reflection on that corporation.
The fact that your actions are a reflection on the thing your name is attached to is not the same thing as being held to a higher standard or having a greater responsibility. Your name could be attached to anything. Yes, your name could be attached. Anything you do could reflect on your family members. Anything you do, and it's like, but the thing is, it's like, Nora, if people who support the foundation don't like how I'm conducting myself or representing the foundation, they can act with their dollars. I am the one accountable for that. So it's not some greater moral or community responsibility is what I'm saying.
Okay, then let me ask you a different question. Do you feel that, and this will be the last thing before we go, because we should have a part 2. We should carry this on. But like, do you feel, if you want, you don't have to, maybe this is it, that's the last time we're going to talk, I don't know, but do you feel, and these are words you've said, do you feel because you have power in the community, that you wield the power, those are things you said, and that you're the president of a front-facing organization that is charitable to help the trauma victims of this thing that we're fighting against, this multi-billion-dollar
representation, but
I know, but I'm asking you, do you feel personally that you have a responsibility at all to this group at large because of the power you wield?
Which group at large?
The ex-Scientology group, people who have been part of Scientology.
A responsibility to all ex-Scientologists.
Do you feel that your words and your actions like are taken with more weight than other people?
They just go to more people. They're not taken with more weight.
But how would that not be more weight, though?
I'm trying to answer your fucking question. People don't take my opinion with a greater weight. It's just that when I express my opinion in my videos, it reaches more people. No one in this community cares more about what I think than you unless they just like me better. It's not, Aaron's got a bigger channel and he's the president of the foundation, so his opinion matters more. Nobody in this community thinks that.
I don't know. Let's do a poll. I don't know that that's true. I mean, I'm being honest. I don't know that that's true, Aaron. Okay. I don't know that that's
You don't
true.
care about my opinion more than someone else's.
Well, no, because we were in a fight. I don't give a fuck at that point. But like, I'm just being honest.
Point proved.
Right.
It's Nora, stop. If you like me, you care about my opinion. If you don't like me, you don't. See, you just proved it.
I proved that because of my personal feelings about you, stopped caring about your opinion. But if
the same thing is true for everybody else.
The way that you've always said to me, like, anybody should be able to turn on any one of our channels and be like, oh, this person's telling me about Scientology. I like the way they tell me about Scientology. I'm going to be their fan. And I agree with that to a point. But like, when you're the person who's, because of the size of your channel and the power that you wield and the fact that you started a charity. Yes, I could start a charity. That's not a debate. Maybe I will. I don't know. I got a lot of other stuff I got to do. But because of those two things, you get talked to a lot on other channels about this subject, right? So you get interviewed because you're the president of a charity and you have a big channel. It's both. It's not just that you have a big channel. It's that they're like, oh, Aaron is doing a lot in this community. What?
It's got nothing to do with the charity that is financially supported by my viewers and my friends'
and some viewers. Of my viewers. Yeah.
It's people don't invite me on their podcast because I'm the president of the SPTV Foundation, Nora.
You don't think so?
You don't think so?
No, I'm asking you. You don't think so? I just said that. I do think so.
No, I know. I'm being like, I don't believe that you believe that is what I'm saying.
I do believe that. I believe that 100%.
I think it's because when they type in Scientology on YouTube, they're like, oh, it's the ex-Scientology Aaron guy. He's funny. Let's talk to him.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I'm just saying I think that that's part of it. Like if you're looking at it from like a resume viewpoint, you have an impressive pedigree, as it were, in the ex-Scientology universe. So I think that is part of it. I don't think you can, say it's not. I think that's definitely part of it. I think you and I disagree very much so on the influence and opinion swaying power that you have in the community. And I hate that word community, but in this sphere, Okay.
Doesn't the evidence indicate the opposite?
What evidence?
Doesn't the evidence of how many people in this community do videos shitting on me every single day sort of prove that what you're saying is bullshit?
No, because people in the community do fucking videos about me every day. I've not only do I have Zero Dark Tony, I got Thomas New Understand, True Clear Media, and the Potato Head Foundation shitting on me all the time.
Those fucking anonymous people are not part of our community.
Okay.
I'm talking about people in our actual community who do videos and posts shitting on me every day of the fucking week tends to prove that what you're saying right now is kind of horseshit.
Okay, besides when I was doing that, who else is doing that?
I'm not about to name any names and create fucking wildfires.
Okay, I'm not trying to create wildfires. I'm just trying to understand because I'm not, guys.
You do understand. You're not in the dark about all the people who've done videos and posts about me every day or week for the last 6 fucking months. You're not in the dark, Nora.
No, I'm not in the dark about the people. Okay, if we're going to talk about the people in the community who do that, there's plenty of people in the community who aren't those 4 people that I mentioned who've also done the same to me.
Who?
So, okay, well, I'll name names. You won't. Farrell, Cheryl, Marilyn. Yeah. Okay. So, you forgot about that. She will, of course.
No, I mean, you're right. But honestly, they're doing videos about you because you're attacking me. And them.
Okay.
And you're attacking them for being my friends.
Yeah. I didn't attack them, though. I said that they should, not do that. They shouldn't support you when, I felt
you just politely said they should not do that.
I said they shouldn't support you when after all the stuff happened I have. It's in 2 minutes.
Why did you do that?
Because we got into a thing. We were in the middle. I wasn't going to leave when we were super heated. I didn't think that was going to be productive for either of us. Okay. I'm going to call Lee. I'll be late. It's all right. She's a friend. We'll be okay. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, to me, there's definitely things that we disagree on. I think that there are things that we do agree on. I think we can both agree that no, I was reading my mod chat and I got distracted. This is ADHD, guys. I can't focus on 2 things at once. I'm sorry. I'm going to focus right here. I think we can both agree. That was a really bad time to pause. That was not planned. I'm sorry. That was awful. I think we can both agree that Scientology is fucking evil. That's
a pretty low bar, Nora.
Yeah. But honestly, I think we agree on the nuts and bolts about Scientology organizationally, where the money is fucking it up and like the things that we need to go after specifically about Scientology to take it down in terms of the cover up of child abuse, child sex abuse, and the cases that are coming up specifically with the Jane Does, Gavin Potter, all of these things. And there's even Leah's case is still out there, and other stuff. Like, those are the things that I personally think we need to focus on. I'm also going to be talking a lot about like book club, which will be tomorrow, guys. But like in the healing aspect, which is really important to me to learn and grow from that, right? Like, even despite the fact that we've had disagreements in this conversation, I'm glad that we had this conversation, right? Because I think it's a first baby step towards, maybe not being at war all the time, which it's not good for my nervous system. I don't want to do it, but but also, like, if you fucking hate me and despise me and don't want anything to do with me, and you're not interested in like carrying on a symbiotic, allyship where we're like, on the same team, like whatever. Yeah, that's totally okay.
I would love a world in which that were happening. I would love a world in which we were all going back to collaboration. The fact is this: look at everyone I have helped platform and build and grow and promote. And then as soon as they have a gripe, they run to the internet and do a drama video about it. I'm done going back and forth with, is someone my friend? Are they not my friend? Are they going to attack me? Are they not going to attack me? I'm fine on just doing my own shit that I've been doing here on YouTube since day one. But the reason I wanted to have this conversation was because talking is better than not talking. I think it's also important to understand it doesn't matter if we like each other or agree with each other. It should have nothing to do with our content. And I guess I want to give you some assurance. Here's how I consider or think about and approach my content and my channel. Okay. If someone is not shitting on me, my friends, or my foundation, I have no reason to ever say their name in a video or make a snide comment about them ever. The only reason I ever started shitting on Chris Shelton is because I saw the mad shit he was talking about me and others on Reddit. And I said, oh, two can play at this game, motherfucker. I'd never even talked shit about any ex-Scientologist ever before I started mentioning Chris Shelton every now and then. Literally, I do not have a reason to say anything negative about anyone in a video ever, unless they're talking shit about me, my foundation, or my friends. But honestly, if someone is here to do Scientology content, why would they ever end up doing content shitting on other people? Now that comes from someone who's done a lot of content shitting on people. I'm not like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But,
no, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that I ended up doing that because I felt very passionately that things were wrong and that you were doing wrong things and that you were getting away with doing wrong things and no one was holding you accountable. And it pissed me off that I felt that's what I felt like. I felt like you were being a fucking asshole and I was the only person brave enough to call you out because, you know, I didn't give any fucks then. And then it ended up, you know, us going tit for tat, back and forth, you know, nasty to each other, you know, about personal digs, whatever. And, you know, and also you know, and I know Jenna's retracted her videos and you guys are doing whatever you do, so I'm not going to talk about that. But when those videos came out, I felt very passionately about supporting her.
Good. That's we said we were going to have boundaries and we didn't talk about beforehand, but I'm not talking anything about that.
Right. And so, but I want to say,
I mean it. Anything. Don't say anything. I'll need to respond.
She told me that I was wrong, and I apologized to her for that. I just wanted to say that, like that, the way I went about that, you know, I felt like I was in the right. I felt like I was, you know, white knighting it for people, right? And that was not necessarily the best way for me to have gone about that whole situation.
It's the one thing
when I did that.
Norris, the one thing I would have told you beforehand, I'm not getting into. If you, like, we should stop.
I'm just taking responsibility for my actions and saying that wasn't the best way I could have done that. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying it publicly and I'm saying it to you. You know, like if I had a time machine, I would do things differently. On that. Okay.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure, you know, and like, I don't, you know, what my hope was going into this conversation is that we could air some feelings out in the public together, and not, you know, be at war, because I don't think
I don't want to be at war. I don't want to be at war.
I don't want to be at war. I don't think that's productive. I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps. It doesn't help my mental health. I can tell you that. And I don't know. I'm not going to comment on your mental health. That's your own personal thing. But I don't think that you're like happy. I mean, I hope you're not happy about it. But you know what I mean? Like
about what?
About, you know, like this scenario.
What scenario?
About us being at war and not.
You're not at war. I'm so happy we're not at war.
Okay.
I want to comment on. I want to dig into something since your friend already let you totally be late.
Yeah,
when you said the statement, no one's holding you accountable. Let's take me out of the equation and let's just talk about that concept in our community.
Okay.
What the fuck does that mean? Accountable to who? And I should just let you answer the question, but here's what I mean. If I have my friends or people or whatever that I don't like what's happening, the only one they're accountable to is me. Like, if I have a problem with someone, I'm going to take it up with them personally. It's not the business of our entire collective fucking audience. So what do you mean when you use those words?
When I use those words, I see, and that's where I feel differently, right? Like, I feel like, and this is what goes back to what we talked about earlier about you having this status and things like that. That's how I perceive it. Right.
But so are you saying I'm the only one because of my status that needs to be held accountable in this community?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But my question is more.
I need to be held accountable. You know, everybody.
No, I'm saying the opposite.
Okay.
If I don't like something that you do and we are friends and we are in this community here to expose Scientology, I don't go like, by golly, My responsibility to the ex-Scientology movement is to hold everybody accountable. And God damn it, that includes my friends. And so if you better not do something that I don't like, because I'm going to do a fucking video about it. Like, what does that mean to you? Holding people accountable. Like, even if you hurt one of my friends, that's between me, you, and my friend. That's not between our audiences. How do you feel about it?
I think the way I feel about it now is totally different than I used to feel about it. Okay. I think that my feelings before, because all of the things we're doing are public, I was like, well, then fuck it. We'll just, like, you know, cry 2 tears in a bucket. Like, fuck it. Let's just take it to the stage, you know, and then we'll just do it here. We'll do it live. Right. I think now, upon living out that scenario in a very public manner over these past 2 years against Zero Dark Tourney, against Mike, against you, you know, I would say that having better direct communication with people, you know, not on YouTube, is a better solution, because things can blow up. Things can go completely sideways. It can take an entire chat off the rails. One comment can throw things into the fucking dustbin, where it didn't need to go, because, you know, I get pumped up about things. I get very, you know, passionate about certain things, especially if I feel like people I care about are being harmed in some way, or being insulted, or being whatever. Like, I feel very much like Mama Bear. Like, I'm gonna go fucking knock the shit out of somebody if somebody is, you know, like, hurting somebody that I care about. But as I've taken the time to, like, calm my mind a bit and start refocusing where my attention is focused, right? I have learned that I need to let things go a lot more, which this book and the Let Them book have really helped me with that, to just be like, okay, like, that happened. There's certain things where I, you know, like, that's why I've stopped watching as much stuff as I used to, because I got too emotional about a lot of the stuff, and it wasn't good for me mentally, because I couldn't let things go. I couldn't sleep. I wasn't taking good care of myself, because I'm like, wow, about, like, things that I didn't need to be that emotionally upset about. Right. But so I think that you know, I agree with people who have called me out for that in the past, that the constant emotional rants and, you know, clapback streams, and I guess they're called reaction streams or whatever officially, that those are not the best use of me as a person on YouTube. Do I get fucking tons of views? Does it, like, the thing that pissed me off too, I'm just going to say this real quickly, is that your whole thing, like, the community doesn't want drama. Nobody likes it. Like, bitch, everybody's tuning in for drama. Okay. All of you guys in the chat right now that are freaking out, we're here for, you guys were hoping some shit was going to go down. Don't fucking
If you guys are here for the drama, drop a 1 in the chat. If you're not here for the drama, drop a 2 in the chat.
But I mean, like, that's unfortunately, that's how society's been programmed for the last 25 years with the birth of reality television, for people to crave drama. That's what happens. You know what I mean? It's like the fucking real world and all this other shit. Kick that shit off. And now we're like, oh, there's another season of Love is Blind. I must binge it in one night. You know, like, it's just like, people love the drama. But I think that what I've been thinking about a lot is my format, is how I communicate things, and also how I make my streams fucking shorter, because I go way too long a lot of times, because I could talk a lot, so that people can really get the messaging that's important, right? Because I really do think this is important. Like, it's not nothing to me. It's not, you know, a throwaway. This is healing from this, and allowing people to know the scars that I bear, and that other people bear, because there's people who will never come on YouTube, and I respect that. And what Scientology is still doing right now and getting away with under the cloak of religion and tax exempt status is important. And I think, in rethinking a lot of the things, I feel like, it's important for all of us to be marching to the same drummer on that. You know what I mean? And not just in our own way. We don't have to all be doing the same dance, because that's impossible. But I think that the beat that we're going along with should be the same, if that makes sense.
So, I mean, I think I agree with you to an extent, but more importantly, like I appreciate what you've said about, how you've been thinking about things and how you've been thinking about everything that's happened, and just, both of our approach in general. And I appreciate you, making it clear how much you would like to de-escalate, would like to have peace. And I feel the same way. And that's what I want as well.
Okay.
And I know we're not going to resolve everything, and, especially in one conversation.
No.
And I think what I would say is I really think managing expectations is hugely, hugely important.
Yes.
And when we talk about marching to the beat of the same drum, there's actually a part of me that's like, I think that's an unrealistic expectation, depending on what we mean by it. I don't care if we all march, for example, like Serge has a very specific focus.
Yeah.
I have a very specific focus. You have a very specific focus. They're not necessarily the same. And I think that's beautiful. To me, marching to the beat of the same drum, what that means to me, or at least how I would like to manage that expectation, is just that, generally speaking, we're here to expose the horrific thing that is Scientology, and we're not really here to take shots at each other. But personal conflicts being what they are in every space, whether it's the comedy space or the beauty space or the MLM space, people are going to end up taking little fucking shots here at each other. Like there's a lot of people that are never going to like me. There's a lot of people that are never going to like you. And so
correct.
I just want to be realistic. It's like, as long as we're generally here for that thing over there, I think we sort of can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I have zero desire or intention, or I will commit. If someone is not actively shitting on me, my foundation, and my friends, I will never say their fucking name. But I reserve the right to defend myself, my foundation, and my friends if I see them being maligned in a way that I think is unfair. Now, I think everyone who watches my channel will know that is not what I like to focus on my channel. But I know that if I promise I'm never going to do X, Y, and Z, it's not true, because I reserve the right to defend myself, my foundation, and my friends if I see them being shit on by people who are supposed to, generally speaking, be here to expose Scientology. And that's how I feel. How do you feel about it?
I feel similarly, but I reserve the same right. Like, if I feel like people are, shitting on me or my friends, that's, game on. But I think that also, I don't like the word exposing Scientology. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to keep this brief. I feel like that's so, like, to me, that's like a fucking flasher with a trench coat showing you his dinky. Like, we're not.
I must have tuned out. What?
Exposing, like, you're exposing yourself in public. Like, that's the imagery that is conjured to my mind when someone's like, we're exposing Scientology. Like, it seems to me what we're
are you saying you don't like that language?
I don't like that language.
To expose Scientology?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh,
I think to use a Scientology term, I think it's namby-pamby. I think that it's not yeah.
Here's what I mean by it. Well, hold on. Maybe I can use different words.
Okay.
Here's what I mean by it. To educate people who may not yet know how Scientology is a family destroying human trafficking cult. That's actually what I mean when I say expose.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's more clear. I mean, and there's certain things, imagery and things that, I've been really bad at, like, just throwing around Scientology gobbledygook constantly. And I have to work on that, because that's part of what keeps my brain in the Scientology, on switch, is, the language, like, activates it like a Manchurian candidate kind of thing. But, I think that what you said, the description you just gave there, is accurate. Like, we need to be more direct about that, just as a whole, because Scientology is not a religion. It is not even a cult. It is a multi-level marketing real estate scam that, human traffics children and adults, and is abusing children and the elderly. like with the cloak of religion. And it's really diabolical. And it has lifelong, disastrous effects for people. And you and I both know many people who are not with us anymore, because they couldn't carry on, after growing up in Scientology and being a part of it. The world was too much for them, and they're not here. And that's the part that I'm really trying to refocus my mind around, and why I'm trying to also really talk about my personal healing journey. This isn't like everybody has to go do what I'm doing, but like how I'm healing through this and the things I'm discovering as I read these books, and even as I watch television shows. And like I started watching Severance, and the fucking parallels between that show and Scientology are insane. Right?
It's such a good show.
It's such a great show. If you guys aren't watching Severance and you want like kind of a taste of kind of like how mindfucky Scientology is, go watch Severance. But it's like things like that. All of those things are healing. And so I feel like that's what I'm trying to create on my channel, right? It's not that I don't want to talk about celebrity stuff. I worked with a lot of celebrities. I just feel, for me personally, like it's only relevant when it's relevant. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, Tom Cruise is a fucking piece of shit, and I hold him as accountable for the crimes of Scientology as I do David Miscavige, because he's the #1 fucking recruiter promoter on planet Earth of Scientology. Because when people think Scientologist, that's the first person they think of.
I did a video today. Tom Cruise has been replaced by Louis Farrakhan.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's recruiting a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in the nation. And so I'm so mad about that.
But Louis Farrakhan doesn't get any views, so I'm sticking with Tom Cruise.
No, he doesn't. But see, this is the problem. Like, I made that gripe that I do a video about you. I shat on you in a video. I yelled about you. I get 20,000 views. I did a really important video about Narconon, 2,000 views. I'm like, guys, you're telling me you don't want me to talk about Aaron, but I also need, like, this is my job. Like, but also, like, I don't want to, but that's the thing. I don't want to make my money shitting on you. I don't want to make my money shitting really, on anybody who's a trauma survivor. Like, that's not what I want to do, because that's not, to me, that's dirty money. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't even, that's how I feel about it. I want to make money exposing, Scientology. That's what I want to do. I want to make the money telling the truth about what happened to me. In interviewing as many people as I can who want to tell their stories. And like helping to be somebody that people can reach out to and say, hey, I'm thinking about leaving. What the fuck do I do? Like, I'm terrified, because we all kind of went through that stage, the terror stage, And I think that's the important part, is that we all hopefully can be like that safe harbor for whoever finds us to be, you're the person that I could relate to, that I could talk to, kind of a thing. Right.
I agree. And it's what made what we were all doing so much fun in the beginning. Is enough time had not transpired for people to become enemies and toxic people to create divisions. And, it was fun because we did, generally speaking, have our eyes on the same goal. And I think because of personal preferences, some people did it with certain people, other people did it with other people, but we were all still kind of doing the same thing. And honestly, that's what made it so goddamn fun in the beginning. I would like to get back to that, even though I honestly don't know if it's possible. I honestly don't even know if it's desirable. I just know that I want it. But I don't need it.
Right. Well, that's the important part, though. I mean, I think that if you want it, I think that should make it desirable. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we're too old to just be fucking doing stuff because. I mean, that's my viewpoint. I'm going to turn 49 this year. So I'm really like, you know what? I'm fucking getting old. I'm not going to do things that aren't important to me, that don't bring me joy, that don't bring me some form of happiness out of it, because I can't waste my time on that. And the world is burning, and there's all these other things. Okay. If
you got to jump,
no. I just found out it got canceled anyway. The person had to leave early, so it's totally fine. Everything's
3 more hours.
4 more hours. Let's go. It's a marathon. We're gonna have a marathon love fest. Welcome to Love Radio. It's the call-in time now. Why don't you call in and tell us what you like about us?
Yeah.
Now, Aaron and I only want to hear complimentary things. I just want to hear how nice my long hair looks. Okay, thank you.
All right, I'll tell you what. If you want me to just sit here and bring up good comments, I'm happy to do so.
Well, I mean, if people have super chatted and stuff, we should probably acknowledge that.
Donna Hanna Ramon's girl. This is wonderful. I love you, Nora. I love you, Aaron. I'm so happy. Nora, are you going to put up My Lady Deadpool again? I
have to find it. I think actually my daughter took it. So my daughter has that. It's now hers.
I'm going to bring up some mean ones if they're funny and if they're about me.
Let's do funny.
No, if they're about me, because you might not be able to see them. I don't know.
No, I mean, I can see every time I click out of the comments, it goes back to 0, and then I go back to the people, and then it's like starts counting up again. So I know we have like literally like 20,000 comments. So it's been a little bit insane.
Dino Nuggets Legacy. Is this AI? This is mean about me, but I'm going to bring it up because I'm a good, what do they call it? A good sport. Okay. Which sure says, I added the beard to your voodoo doll. I'm out. Okay, let me see. Okay, Ken's channel. I didn't see this on my bingo card, but I love that you're talking fight Scientology, not each other. Thank you, Ken. Yep, I'm gonna not bring up the hateful comments in your chat. Okay, Virginia.
Guys, be good.
Virginia Martinez, great job, positivity. And Rib Guy. This is about taking down the cult, which we are all here for. Yesterday was a big step for the community. Be part of it. They are doing what they see needs to happen. Remember what this is about. This is an all hands on deck. Respect to you both. And it looks like he left that super chat on both of our channels. So
wow. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Rib Guy.
That's very nice.
Grandma Janet. Aaron, is that Leah on your shirt? You know what? It does look like Leah, but it's not. And you know what's funny?
Who is that?
I don't know. Serge gave me this back when the day I got arrested. I got arrested in this shirt and he says, just keep it. It's not Leah, but it does look like her.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Ask Serge. It's probably
I'll ask Serge. I don't know who that is.
Model. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay. Power lies to paralyzed. Never bet against the Scientologist reconciliation. Okay, I'm going to ignore all of the ones that are mean and horrible on your stream because you have horrible viewers.
Are you joking right now? Do you read the comments that people, my name wasn't banned in your chat and people were not kind. I read it. I see what you hearted.
You heart the worst comments.
So do you. Don't act like you didn't do it.
I know, you're right. Okay, Kristen F. Can Aaron go on Oh No America and do some political shenanigans with Nora, please? I've seen some of the interviews that you do, and you're really, really good at that. You should do more of that.
Yeah, there's some protests coming up here outside of Tesla, and there's a ironically, the day Tony goes back to court on the 4th is a nationwide protest in every city. So if you wanted to go find
why outside Tesla?
Well, because of Elon.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh no. You're driving around a hate mobile right now. I hate to break the news to you.
Have you tried full self-driving?
Listen.
Okay, I think you changed your political. I think you changed some of your beliefs if you tried that full self-driving.
I don't need self-driving. I'm a perfectly good driver. Yeah. I can drive stick. I don't need a car to tell me what to do. And also, by the way, when I was working at Safe Flight, worst windshields in the universe.
Look how oily I'm getting.
Fucking Tesla.
People joke about me shining this head. I literally have to shine this head when I get too oily.
You're getting it. You got it. You got heated. We got heated there for a minute.
But no, I just get oily.
No. People are protesting outside of every single Tesla place. But on March 4th, it's a nationwide 50. It's from the organization 5051. 50 cities, 50 states. one protest. So there, if you go to that website, and it's spelled out 5051, you can find your local wherever, because like in Oregon, for example, it's supposed to be the capital of every
we get
state,
the point. Jesus.
but they're going to do one in Portland and one in Salem. So I'll be at the Portland one again for sure. Yeah.
Kristen F. Great job, Nora. Love to see you have the hard conversations.
Okay.
You are great at it.
Thank you, Kristen.
All right, I'm going to ignore that shitty comment on your stream. I'm going to ignore, no, that's still a shitty comment on your stream.
I don't know.
Okay. Cassie on my stream.
Okay.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Okay. Well, you're welcome, Cassie.
Yeah, we'll introduce that one. Skip that one. Wow. Let's see. We'll skip
no politics.
that one.
I'm not supposed to do politics on this.
Skip that one. We'll skip that one and that
Who's starring
one.
these comments?
No, these are all the auto-starred ones.
Oh, gross. Who put on auto star?
No. Any super chats are automatically auto-starred.
Oh, are some of them?
I don't have anyone in the back office starring comments.
Oh, are some of these oh, now I see them. Some of the super chats are mean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not bringing up any ones that are mean about you either.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. All right. Cuddly Floof. So proud of you, Nora.
Thank you, Cuddly Floof.
Okay.
I love Abby so much.
Molly Lang, the wonderful Molly Lang. A couple drinks on me tonight, Aaron. Nice try. Way to stay reasonable and appreciate you giving this a good old college try. Thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. Geez Louise.
Wow. That's people are, I mean, here's the deal. People are gonna these are a lot of spicy. There's some spicy ass comments in here.
I know. I'm just bringing up ones that are just nice. Like even ones that are borderline. It's like I'm not bringing up anything that's even slightly argumentative. Okay. Eat more pizza. Eat more pizza now, David. Respect to all in the chat. Sadly, the fighting has pushed so many people away. Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Look, is that really him? Because normally it's like the Noid.
What?
See?
Yeah, that's really him.
You're adorable, David. I've never seen his actual face. There you go. You could pull up Rabbit's comment. Did you get down to it?
Here it is. Rabbit says, "My eyes trick me, but I'm happy to see y'all both." And Lynn Hilton says, "Oh, thank goodness you two are making me smile."
There you go.
And West Coast Fancy Nancy says, "Proud of you, Nora." And Donna Hanna says, "Proud of you both. Am I welcome on your channel, Nora?" Is she blocked?
Yeah, there's a lot of people blocked on my channel. I don't know. I have to go back through things. Yeah, guys, here's the deal. We're not trying to get world peace. Apparently, I have a beef with Crackhead Kenny now. I don't know. I don't know Crackhead Kenny.
But here's the thing, Nora.
I don't know why people are mad. But
who are invested in the fucking hatred and the division. And here's what I mean. And I'm not going to open up a can of worms. I'm not going to say anyone's name right now. Okay. The people and the fans of those people who are invested in the hatred and division will use the fact that we are even being civil and nice to each other to basically say, you're a piece of shit for normalizing and platforming me. And I'm a piece of shit for normalizing or platforming you.
Right.
And in my opinion, those people can go fuck themselves. Like that is the tail trying to wag the dog. And I don't play that game. So, anyone who wants to have a problem with us talking to each other, they honestly can go fuck themselves. And they are the problem. And that's been my position. That is my position. That is the position I am going to take. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of people have my phone number. And if you have my phone number and you have an upset about this conversation, let's say, or just in general with me, the way I'm trying to approach it is exactly what you and I spoke about just a minute ago, which is like, I'd really rather talk things out, as adults, even if we have disagreements, even if we, whatever, not on the internet, because I feel like unless that's the show where we're just this is the show now where we just talk and we have a bunch of disagreements. That's a show.
That's a show I'm even willing to do.
Right. It's a show. We could just, have our feelings and we talk about different things. And we
I think eventually our audience will be like, this is kind of stupid, but
right. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like we, as a group, and I take full responsibility for my participation in the drama, pyre, that has been going on now for like the last year, that it has become expected a little bit that if anybody says something that's like a little bit off, or maybe, like you said, like a tiny dig or whatever, or that, oh no, that's not okay, or whatever, that it is expected for there to be a reaction from certain people. Like I know that, like, I haven't been saying anything about things that you've said or whatever, because that's what I've been practicing. And as I've been more practicing it, that's when I came to the conclusion today, like maybe we should talk, like, because I feel like with the important things that are coming up, and those are bigger than me. Those are bigger than my feelings. Those are bigger than a lot of stuff, because no single one of us, and this is not a cut on anybody, but no single one of us is going to take Scientology down.
True. I agree.
It is a group effort. It is a multi-pronged effort that is going to be many different things that take it all the way down. And we kind of need, like Captain Planet, everybody's individual specialty to make like the Captain Planet guy, right? Like, but you know what I mean? Like kind of like that. Like for example, Dylan, as an example, Dylan knows things that I have like Dylan knows a lot of stuff. Dylan's been a lot of places. He knows a lot of things about the inner workings of various factions, and that's important in taking down Scientology. Right? Does that make Dylan more important than me, or his trauma more important than my trauma, or not? No, it just means that he has a specialized knowledge that I don't have. I have a specialized knowledge in having gone through the RPF and done the, been with the celebrities that you don't have, because you worked at a totally different organization than I did. You know what I mean? So all of our experiences are valid and important, because they kind of put all the pieces that need to be there in the puzzle.
I agree. I mean, I think every piece matters, and I think every voice matters. I think what I don't agree on, though, it's not everybody's responsibility to platform every voice. Like that's that's why, by the way, if it looks like I wasn't paying attention, it's because we have so many people in the chat. It's hard to find anything, but I wanted, Streets is here, and I wanted to pull up his comment. Ignore the toxic chatters. They are invested in drama, not the activism and the results. And
that's
he is
true. That's a true statement.
That is totally correct. And so I think, just because I don't bring someone on my channel, and I'm sorry, maybe this isn't what you were saying at all, or even implying. It's like, I don't owe everyone a responsibility to bring them on my channel just because they're doing good work. I just don't. It's not my responsibility to the community to platform everybody. Like, I'm going to platform my friends and people I like. Period. That's how it works. But that's why I'm not the gatekeeper of the community. And I don't mean to sound offensive. I don't think you were, I don't know if this seems relevant to what you were just saying, but I agree. Everyone is important, but that's why everyone has a channel, and everyone should do with their channel what they want with their channel. Are we on the same page, or were you saying something different?
I think yeah. I think that everybody needs to bring, their dish to the potluck. Like you can't, the way I look at it is you can't just show up to the potluck with a plate, because that's rude. You gotta show up to the potluck with the dish, and put some love in that dish, and make sure, everybody can't just bring the dessert. Like that's fun, but then we're all like got diabetes, and we're gonna pass out. Like everybody's got to bring a balance.
It sounds like we're saying, though, that some people's content is the dessert and some people's content is the
No,
dinner.
no,
When it's
no.
like, do whatever you want with your channel.
No, do whatever you want. But I'm saying like this is what you're saying is that we're all different voices and we're all like, you know, Serge has got his and hats off to Serge, honestly, for being always hyper focused and never varying from his stated mission and voice and, you know, delivery on that. I truly admire that about him, that he doesn't, you know, flail about and stuff. And that's something that I'm really working on, because I'm so interested in so many things and I dive into all these rabbit holes and then I end up muddying my own waters. I make like 3 good points, but then it should have been 3 separate streams. And I realize that now, that I need to be like, we're talking about this and we're going to keep it here. And then if I get an idea about something else, I have to figure out how in the moment to be like, hang on, I got to jot this down. We're going to do this next stream. And then keep the river that I'm in going in the direction instead of like taking a left turn because something's interesting. It doesn't mean that those things are invalid or not important, but I should dedicate the time to like doing that. And that's a person, you know, some people enjoy my ADHD like all over the place. They're like, I'm with you. I'm also spicy, so I feel it. But some other people are like, I don't know what just happened. I feel weird, but I learned something. I don't know, you know, and that's what I'm working on personally, is that I want my messaging to be, you know, a package that anybody could pick up and understand. And not just, you know, but it is, you know, and part of it was that I was doing this is like kind of therapeutic for myself. I'm talking about these things and I'm going on these adventures. And then I've realized that therapy is therapy and I can share the results I have from therapy, but I can't utilize the internet as therapy. Like that's not good for me. Some other people it works for, it doesn't work for me.
That's true. I just had a thought. You mentioned or asked earlier if I have a responsibility to the community. You know, one of the things that I felt I've had a responsibility to the community for is to give advice and ideas for how I think more people can succeed more on the platform. And, you know, when I've done that, I don't want to bring up something to complain, but I think it's just a bit of a dialogue. Okay. It has, if people, you and others, don't like what I have to say, becomes sort of a, how dare you, one, think that you can tell us what to do, or how dare you? I mean, let me give you one. Let's just stop talking about hypothetical and we'll talk about something real.
Okay.
This is YouTube. People want to watch content that makes them feel good. Okay. I believe people tune into my content or have subscribed to my channel because I sort of go about talking about Scientology the way Jon Stewart talks about politics. You're taking something that's actually serious and important and you're making it funny and relatable. Okay. Now, you and others have criticized me for daring to imply that what we're doing here is anything short of deadly serious, and how dare it be fun, and how dare we laugh. And I'm not bringing this up to criticize you. But it's like, I do feel that I have a responsibility to try to give some guidance and advice to help more people succeed more. That's what I've always wanted from the beginning.
Right.
And when I give that advice, sometimes it gets interpreted that, oh, I'm telling people they shouldn't do this or don't talk about that. And I'm like, do whatever you want. I'm just saying that more eyeballs will be attracted to our conversations if they're being done in a way that somehow people connect with and it makes them somehow feel better. Now, feel better doesn't always mean feel happy. They could go from being depressed and sad and terrible to going, this person understands me, or watching their videos make me feel better. You know, I'm just talking off the cuff here, but I watch content that makes me feel good. Now, what feel good means is different to different people. You know what I mean? So, but you would acknowledge that this is we haven't spoken in 6 months, but this is something you've had a problem with me for many months, which is, well, you criticized this a moment ago for protesting and standing outside and having pizza. And it's like, protesting should be fun if you want a lot of more people to join you. These are not Antifa protests.
Okay. I just feel like, okay, this is a good point to talk about. So for me, and probably it's because of what we talked about at the very beginning, right? Like the difference between how you felt about Scientology and like how it affected you, right? And how I feel about how it affected me personally, right? And how that still affects me now, and how you deal with that and how I deal with that are two totally different things. And I don't want to say that you feel like nothing happened to you or something and you have no trauma. I don't know. I actually don't know what your perception of that.
I have a ton of trauma.
Of that is. Okay.
You know that.
Yeah, I know. I know you have a ton of trauma.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that.
Honestly, and I don't mean to take this anywhere. I don't mean to take this to a more serious tone than it needs to be. You and others like to very much minimize my experience in trauma in Scientology because of the type of content I do. And it's really not cool. It's really not cool. You guys I say you guys, I'm sorry. You, and I'll just say some others, like to basically hold certain people in the community up on pedestals of they're the most traumatized. So they're the ones people should care about the most. They're the ones you're not allowed to tell them they're liars. They're the ones you're not allowed to tell them that they're wrong. Everybody can do that to me because I'm a rich, straight white man with giant earlobes who does videos about Tom Cruise. Like, at some point, it's really not okay to minimize my Scientology experience and trauma because I'm successful on YouTube.
Yeah, okay. I think that I spent a lot of time saying exactly that to a lot of people for like an entire year. But like literally what you just said, like in defense of you, because people were shitting on you and saying that, you don't give a fuck. It doesn't affect you. And even at the beginning of our conversation, like the difference between how you described what you went through and stuff compared to like my last two videos, as an example, it gives a contrasting view to the audience, an appearance that like, it doesn't affect you because your show in particular, and I know this is how you run your show, you don't do like a lot of personal stuff. You don't get into your feels. And so the perception is maybe you don't have feels.
Well, and others really like to say how much I fake cry whenever I cry. And the video that you haven't watched yet from yesterday,
yes,
where I get choked up talking about child sex victims, you and others love to tell me how I can just turn on the tears. Guys, if I could turn on the tears, I would have actually been a fucking actor. Okay. I actually had the idea that in order to be an actor, you had to be able to cry on command. People have recently told me that's not how it works.
Some people use drops.
Me, I could be a movie star right now. Someone should have told me 25 years ago.
There are actors that can do that and they're amazing, but not everybody can.
I know, but do you see what I'm talking about? Like, I understand what you're saying. Look, nobody knows more than I that I tend to be very emotionally positive. And yet when I do the opposite of that, you and others like to say it's just fake and I'm just turning it on. And it's really not fucking okay.
I will say this. There have been specific times where I thought you were faking it. There are specific times where
That's a really fucking shitty thing for you to say. I'm not going to lie.
But I'm being honest. I thought you were not being sincere in crying. But I
can't even believe you would even say that. I mean, I know you're trying to be honest, so I can't penalize you for being honest.
Okay.
But it's like, it's such a horrible thing to think or even say about a fucking Scientology survivor. No one would ever question.
But it wasn't about it wasn't you crying about your trauma. I've never thought that you fake cried about that. That wasn't, that's what I'm saying. I said there's been a couple times where I thought that it was, good for the messaging. And that was my opinion at the time, but also full disclosure, right? Sometimes honesty and truth it's not great. Okay. And it's not great for me, but I'm going to say this out loud. Like, because I was pissed at you, right? And I was feeling very emotionally hostile towards you, right? I was like, well, that's probably fake. Like, and so I acted a lot of times out of emotion that was not rational, right? Because I was reacting to what I felt was like insulting shit about me. And so then, and then comments from all of your people are always like, oh, Nora's just a fake crier. I was like, bitch, if my face is poofy and I can't see and I look like this, like that, I can't fake that. I can't fake inflammation in my face.
I would never think you were fake crying about anything.
So it's just, I feel like that's bad. That's bad to have said that. And I did say that. Right. And emotions are hard for all of us in the trauma survivor universe, no matter what the emotion is, right? Because it's not something that we were allowed to do. And it's also something that we have a lot of trauma itself around because of the tone scale and other things and the way emotions were twisted.
Yeah.
So that's the things that I've discovered. Like I've had to like detangle what it means to feel certain things, right? And really allow myself to feel certain things. You know, and I think part of that came after I received the shots, because the nervous system reset isn't just like a magic, like turn it off, turn it back on again, and now everything's fucking rainbows. That would be awesome. But what it allows you to do is what happened for me, and this is the part that I didn't deal with in the best way, is that because floods of emotions and memories and like fucking a lot of trauma came back on me all at once while I was still swimming in trauma on YouTube, which I should have handled better. I should have backed off. Like hindsight 2020. After going through that procedure, I probably should have taken 2 months, like literally to do nothing, to just be like, you know, testing pattern on my fucking channel. Just like, boop, I'll be back. Right. And just take the time to meditate and reset my mind and not like, just not be in any of this stuff and just go mow lawns or something, you know, to like be productive. And like, no, but I'm serious. Like I fucked myself in that moment of recovery because I continued to, for me personally, and I'm not talking about anything you did, this was my actions on myself, that I continued to traumatize myself and allow myself to react sometimes inappropriately to things that were happening. Right. And because of that, I contributed to a lot of things that are now still in motion in the community. Right. Like, we'll circle back to Scott for just a second. When he first showed up on the scene, I was like, you'll recall, I think I called you and I was like, I think this guy's a fucking plant. Like, what is with the fur coat? This guy's nuts. And I've said all this to Scott personally, so this isn't like I'm just spilling tea. But like, I really thought he had one intention, which was to come here and fuck shit up.
Oh, you were right. You were totally right. That's exactly what he is. You open the fucking door.
But
that's exactly what he is.
I know. And I repeated that over and over and over and over again. I got into many beefs with him one-on-one in streams. We went at it. And I felt that I was totally right about that.
You were. Congratulations.
My viewpoint on that has changed, not via actions and also what we talked about, the opportunity to have that one-on-one conversation about specific things.
The fact that he apologized to you changes nothing.
I don't think it doesn't change yesterday's actions. Absolutely, it can't, because the apology came months ago.
It doesn't change the last year.
Okay.
Or 6 months. Anyway, I'll go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I don't know. I just want to say, I'm not trying to say anything Scott has done or said gets my ultimate stamp of approval or anything like that. Like, I'm not like, you know, but I will.
Is it okay for him just to scream at Sea Org members saying, get back in the building, get back in your cult?
No, I've told him that. I told him I don't like that.
And why do you support him in his chats when he does it anyway?
I don't support him in his chat when he's doing that.
You just support him on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays when he's not doing that?
I support him specifically when he's talking about specific things, and I talk about that in the chat with him interactively. And then I bounce because first of all, when I go into somebody's chat, anybody's chat, okay, I want to give my support and say, hey, I see what you're doing here. Like, I go into Audit LA's chat and I'm like, hey, thank you for doing this. And it's not, but what I'm saying is my intention always, when I go into anybody's chat, is either I have a question about what they're doing and I want to be like, oh, what's this? Or where are you? Or whatever the fuck. Or I just want to be like, hey, and then I'll like post it like, hey, so-and-so, I've posted Dan Walks LA as an example. Like Dan Walks LA is doing.
Let's fast forward.
That's what I'm saying. That's my 100%. That's my intention in going into anybody's chat is to just be like, I'm here to support. And
him apologizing to you doesn't change any of his actions and how it's affected the community. That's all.
Okay. I'm not going to debate that. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying I would love to see,
we're talking about a guy who's never been in Scientology and calls out former second-gen Scientologists as bad actors. And I'm not just talking about myself. I'm talking about LA-based protesters. And so this piece of shit.
He called out me too. Yeah.
Well, I know, but he apologized, so that doesn't matter. So this piece of shit literally sits here and calls out former second-gen Scientologists who are protesting the cult they grew up in, and he calls them out as bad actors for not giving him enough credit. This is pure, vile garbage and destruction. And I guess I'm not trying to draw a hard line and make a solid point and make you agree with me, but I'm sorry. Him apologizing to this person or that person, or him being apologetic on Sunday and every other Wednesday means nothing to me. Scott is disgusting and vile, and he has to go. That's my piece.
Ask you a hypothetical scenario that has nothing to do with reality. But if Scott were to, I'm serious, if Scott were to do a post or something or a video where he said exactly what you just said, basically like, I said these things, it was inappropriate, I should not be protesting second-gen Scientologists who are trauma survivors, that was fucking whack sauce, however he words, I don't fucking know. But, do a sincere apology to you and the other specific people involved at that police commissioner meeting and to the community at large. Would you even be willing? Would that be something that you would go, okay, I accept your apology, but I still don't trust you?
No, I wouldn't accept the apology.
You wouldn't. There's nothing he could do to be like,
oh, well, hold on. If you said, do I accept? Well, if you say, do I accept your apology, but I still don't trust you? I mean, sure, that could, yeah. If the apology itself was sincere, I could see myself saying, sure, I accept that apology, but I still don't trust you.
Right.
But why would he make the apology? Because here's the thing.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, if we're looking for solutions, like you
understand, I don't need an apology because to me, he's not even a part of the community. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not looking for an apology. I'm looking for him to be gone.
I got you. I got you.
If he wants to apologize to appease, someone he's trying to stay in a relationship with, then he's free to do so. But don't apologize to me.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, if he did a sincere apology and he started protesting in a productive manner, would he be acceptable in the community to you?
So because it's a hypothetical.
It's a total hypothetical. This has nothing. I'm not talking. I'm not on the phone with Scott. Nothing. I'm just saying if this is ideal scene. If that's what happened. I'm just framing it. I'm just framing it correctly. We could do an example of if you could travel as fast as the speed of light. Sure. And we can acknowledge you can't, but sure, if, then yes. The point is, I don't believe Scott's capable of changing. Okay.
But in a hypothetical world where all of a sudden he said, holy shit, I've been living in an alternate universe for the last year. Now I'm going to be completely different. And it's like where, what was that TV show? Was it called Fringe? Where you're in like the alternate Fringe dimension and the Statue of Liberty is bronze, is copper again. Yeah, of course. But it's so unrealistic as to be meaningless.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Scott's done this in every community he's ever joined. It's only a matter of how long can he hang on? How much destruction can he do? And even the communities he's already left, he still hurts them. So you don't go from trying to destroy the people who are working the hardest to expose Scientology to being like, oops, did I do that? My bad. I've seen the error of my ways. Like, it's just not realistic.
I don't think that would be a sincere apology either. I think that would be bullshit. I mean, I'm talking about like an actual, real apology.
Scott needs to go. I don't want an apology. Scott's out of here. Scott's gone. Okay. And when he's gone, we will rebuild the protest community from the bottom up. And those who supported what Scott is doing to the ex-Scientology community will not be a part of it.
Okay.
To the extent that I have power, that's how I'm going to use it.
Right.
Hold on. I wasn't done with the.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To the extent that I have power, that's what I'm going to do. to the extent that Streets has power, that's what he said he's going to do. There's no reason for me to want to play in the sandbox with Scott. He's created so much destruction, so much havoc, so much vile lies. It's gotten so bad. There's just no reason to entertain the conversation. The future is going to be without Scott. And when that happens, I will help Streets. I consider a Streets thing. I can only help by helping to promote people, you know. People will want to join the community again. And the reason it's going the wrong way is because look how few people are out there doing it. Okay.
But there are people that
I didn't say there aren't people. I said, look how few people, and the people that are out there are for the most part supporting Scott in his destruction of this community. So they can all leave with Scott, or they can keep doing their videos. I don't care. It's not my business.
Yeah, but see, here's I want to push back on one thing. I don't think, and I understand your point about Scott. I'm not.
You say I'm a leader. You say I have power, and then you want to tell me how to use it.
No. Well, I want to just push back on one particular point. Okay, that the people, I feel like what you're saying right now is a bit divisive, right? Because there are some people. But
Nora,
let me
stop.
I know, but let me. But
you cannot say that taking a stand against division is divisive.
Okay, but let me finish my point so that you understand. Okay. So some of the people who are newer to the protest, and by that I mean like people who have physically, when I say protest, I don't, obviously doing a channel talking, that's also protesting, whatever, that's been debated. But some people who have newly come out to physically stand and talk to Scientologists and participate in that portion of protesting, are good people. And yes, we're not talking about
whether people are good or bad.
But this is why I'm pushing back, because part of what you just said is that when you rebuild the protest movement, anybody who supported Scott, like meaning they were a fan or something like that, will not be included.
Included in what? If I have power, I can use it how I want. In my opinion,
sure.
Anyone who sees what Scott has been doing for the last 6 months and has supported it can't be trusted to have the best interests of ex-Scientologists at heart. And this movement is about being allies to ex-Scientologists and supporting them and exposing Scientology. I will not trust anyone in the future who is currently and actively supporting Scott Hochstetter. That's my position to take.
Okay. I just think that potentially could alienate people who actually do give a shit about ending Scientology, and because they, enjoyed. I'm just going to talk about Scott's protesting, not about any of the other actions, but enjoyed his protests, and became inspired because of his protests to come out and also protest. I think that wholesaling.
They can do whatever they want, Nora. They're not going to get promoted by me. They're not going to be promoted by Streets. They can do whatever they want. We don't owe it to them, Nora.
No, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to clarify then is like, okay, so you're not going to have so-and-so XYZ on your channel. That's fine. That's your channel. That's your choice. I'm not saying that you have an obligation to platform or promote anybody. That's, it's your channel. Just like I don't have an obligation to platform. What I'm saying is then, is the implication of what you said, are you then going to like demean those people? Are you going to do anti-content about those people? Or are you just they just get to go do whatever they're doing, you don't give a shit, and thank you for protesting? Like, that's what I'm asking.
I don't think so. I guess the question is, are they doing content shitting on me, my foundation, and my friends, or are they just out there protesting?
That's what I'm saying. If they're just out there
that's what I'm asking.
They're just out there protesting.
Okay, I would never shit on someone who's just out there protesting. The reason I mentioned Mirjam Scientology Up North and T. Perth Scientology Audit is because I saw them in Scott's live chat on a live stream where he was counter-protesting ex-Scientologists and they were being supportive of him. Now, if I believe T when she says that wasn't her profile and she wasn't in there. So T, instead of doing a 3-hour video about what an abusive woman abusing piece of shit I am for saying that, you could have done a 10-minute video condemning Scott for what he did, but you didn't, and you still haven't. So I guess to answer your question, Nora, I'm not going to be out there. I'm not going to be out there doing videos shitting on people who are out there protesting Scientology because they used to support Scott Hochstetter before he left the community.
That's what I was asking, because, and again, this is why I'm asking questions, because my mind sometimes when I hear things, okay, it makes a decision that in past times I would have just had like a blow up about. So instead of like going down that trail that my mind was leading me on, that's why I was asking a clarifying question, because that fine. Was the idea that popped up in my head. So yeah. I'm asking that because, you know, the way I view protesters in general, people who go out and they're standing in front of the buildings and they're trying to interact with Scientologists.
Are they allowed to eat pizza without being insulted?
Sure. If you want to have a pizza party on the corner, that's up to you. I mean,
people with food in their stomach are happier than people who are hungry.
This is true, but I also think that is a form of taunting to the Sea Org members who are malnourished. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a real thing. But you know they're jealous as fuck that they are not getting all that pizza. Because that was the one, guys, that was the one carrot that we had in the motherfucking Sea Org, is if you won that goddamn birthday game that you were slaving away at, you got a pizza party on Friday night. And we all wanted that fucking pizza party. So
can we agree we've probably both said everything we want to say about Scott and the protesters right now?
Yes. I think I love the protesters.
Let's go back to the happy super chats.
I just want to, let's get back to super chat. But I just want to say, I love the protesters. I am so incredibly grateful to everybody who's shown up even one time somewhere to protest, because that is bringing tremendous attention to Scientology. I think that's my personal opinion. And I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Well, you're not grateful to all of them because you insult the ones that you don't like.
I'm even grateful to Feral Cheryl and Lori Plays and your other. I don't know who all the other people are.
I guess at a certain point, though, if you're talking about both sides of your mouth, then it's like let's not say that I'm grateful for you, but I'm going to insult you.
But here's the deal: I insulted Feral Cheryl, and I will own that. Because first of all, she was a bitch to me on the phone and cussed me out. And so
don't make me send Feral Cheryl a link to join us on this live stream, because I'll do it.
And Cheryl knows we had the conversation. We had a whole bitch fest back and forth to each other. And so, yeah, I was pissed that she was sitting there supporting when I didn't think that she should be. I thought that she should make a different decision. But guess what? I'm not in charge of Feral Cheryl's life. She's in charge of her life. No, apparently not. And so I am grateful that people have shown up, that they've spoken out, that they've, raised their voice. I am grateful for that. That's not talking out of both sides of my mouth. This is called evolving as a person. If I can't change and I can't grow from my mistakes, then I may as well cancel my whole YouTube channel. There's no point.
I didn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I understand.
I
understand.
Yeah.
Okay. The scrapbooker says, glad to see you two together. Daniel says, if Nora was able to fix things, I will try as well. Club Brain Fog says, us never ends need you second gens to give us an education about Scientology. Donna Hanna says, I'm a tough love person and your chat seems to hate me. Okay.
Listen, I'm only responsible for my words and actions. I'm not responsible for anyone in my chat's words or actions or other people who happen to be second gen Scientologists. Like that's the part that I've grown. And that's the part where I'm also not
I have a thought.
Doing things like go for it.
Since you can lecture me, I'm going to lecture you. No.
Okay.
I truly, responsibility to the community.
Sure.
I truly believe that we as content creators in the community have a responsibility, all of us, to the community, to block certain words in the live chat that are always used to get people off topic and create divisions and piss people off. If I don't want someone being dragged in my comments or my live chat, because comments are easier to moderate, just put the fucking name as a blocked name. Okay. Or a word as a blocked word. I guess I thought I had a bigger point to make, but I really don't. Like, all of us creators know, the live chat is how toxicity gets transported from channel to channel.
Oh, sure.
I know, but you let yours run fucking hog wild.
No, and I'm much tighter than it used to be. I did used to. I mean, I admit that I fully had like barely any rules, and my mods hated that. So we have tightened it up, and and that was part of the discussion that I had, that we couldn't just have.
Your cat is terrible.
It's terrible. Wow.
Yeah.
Why are they terrible? What about my chat is terrible?
You should read it sometime.
I do. I mean, well, I try not to because I get too distracted.
Chat are so fucking hateful, but the reason is because you have Scott's community. That's why.
Okay.
They're the worst. They are disgusting and hateful and toxic, and that's why they're here, because they support a guy who's disgusting and hateful and toxic and has been destroying the community for 6 months. So, but that's okay. I'm not looking for you to. I'm not trying to make.
Do you read all of your chat when they're shitting on me and other people, and they say absolutely disgusting, false things? You don't do anything about that. And people have said a lot of disgusting things about me.
I know, but just you. Your chat hates everybody because they're fucking.
Oh, okay. Well, they're equal opportunity haters, and yours is just focused on me. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's like, honestly, out of everyone in this like, no one in my community, no one in my live chat comment community cares if some channel with 1,000 subscribers did a video about me. They got 200 views. And they're like, oh my God, we hate that person. It's like, you're target number one, really. So
I know. I'm aware. I have apparently I have more power than you do. Apparently, I am the most powerful person on planet Earth.
I don't get it. Why do you say that?
Because everyone is bitching about. There's no one that doesn't bitch about me. Name one person.
I'm sorry. Let me make a better point. My moderators actually delete all comments in the live chat that are being hateful towards other people.
No, they don't.
In the live chat or the comment section? The live chat or the comment section? In the live
chat. I've watched your live chat enough times to know that Feral Cheryl is one of my #1 haters in the chat, and she's your fucking mod. So please don't
wait, in your chat or my chat?
Your chat.
Okay, fine. I'm sure people. I've probably given everyone a license to shit on you.
She fucking like high fives people when they say shit about me. Don't get me started.
I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not complaining that your chat doesn't like me. I'm saying your chat and your moderators seem to think it's okay to just say the most horrific things about anybody in there. I'm not just complaining that they don't like. I'm not talking about.
So the rule that I had laid down first was that I wanted chat to sort itself out a bit. I wanted people to. So if somebody comes in and they say, nonsense, other chatters are like, hey, that's nonsense. And they can have a back and forth. That's fine. So I thought that was a good idea. I thought, like, let's have a discussion. Let's have, differing opinions. And what built up over time because of that philosophy that I had, that my mods were like, can we please bounce more people? And I was like, no, just, this person is a little spicy. That's fine. Like, whatever. That what has happened over time is that I have had to really learn through that hour-long discussion with my mods and, discussions about my content with my wife and things like that, that's not a good idea for the people in chat, for the people who watch chat, for me, because I react to chat, it made, a bad situation. So I gave my mods more power to do that because they are
said that recently.
They are doing a really, really fucking good job at that.
Yeah.
And we're slowly, it's not an instantaneous thing. You can't, how it goes. You can't just block 3,000 people or whatever.
Sure. No, but you can block words.
Right. And I need to work on more of the words that are blocked because I don't have a lot of blocked words. And that's something that I can work on.
This wasn't an effort to take you specifically to task. It was an effort to be like, you asked me earlier about a responsibility to the community. And my live chat is so harshly moderated, not to protect my feelings, but to prevent troublemakers from importing toxicity from other channels. I do that not for my feelings, but for the greater benefit that it has. And I don't see many people in the community understanding that is, if we want to talk about anyone having a responsibility to the community, we all do. And the live chat is the vehicle through which toxicity is spread from channel to channel. There are certain people who do it certain people who literally spread it from every fucking channel to channel. And if people actually care about the community that we're talking about, they should understand that moderating the live chat is important for that reason, not for feelings.
Absolutely. And my mods absolutely understand that. And there are reasons, I know, why certain people are blocked, but I agree with you that me as a creator right? I do bear responsibility. I don't put it all on the mods. These people are volunteers. I'm not,
I'm not shitting on them. I'm
okay, good. Because
Yeah.
like they're working their ass off, and I have people from different continents modding for me and shit. So like I value their time, and I value the work that they do, because otherwise I would have no mods, and then it would be a real disaster. I would just have to turn my chat off. So I have a responsibility in that. There are certain things that I can do better on that end.
That's fine.
For sure.
That's fine. I just was revisiting the responsibility to the community.
Yeah. No, and I don't disagree with you. I think that has absolutely contributed to the toxicity overall in the overall community.
And so
I
have I.
agree.
You can't take all the responsibility, because then there's none for me to take.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe you can. Maybe Feral Cheryl can stop high-fiving people when they say bad things about me.
Okay, Cheryl's a really good friend of mine.
Even Marilyn has stopped doing that.
They're defending me.
And that's but here's the deal. When I'm not shitting on you,
It's
they
residual.
shouldn't allow people to shit on me.
It's residual. The truth
residual? Like it's like
well,
as if I was
shitting
going
on
at the
me
speed of light.
on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're not going to be like, well, she didn't do it today. I know, things have been different. Things have been different the last week or two.
But the live stream still hasn't. Your live stream chat hasn't changed.
All right, that's fine. We'll issue new orders.
Thank you.
We'll update the directives. Okay. Erica M says, people like drama and will show up for it. Your supporters do not fuel the drama by definition. I think that means if they support you, they won't fuel the drama.
Right.
Doc, thank you for that. Let me see. Okay, this seems fine. April Taylor, I'm glad you're talking. I feel like Nora looks up to Aaron's influence, and because of that, she puts responsibility on him that she would feel obligated to perform herself. He does not feel the same. That sounds fair. Does that seem fair?
I guess.
Well, does that mean that if you had my channel and if you were the president of the foundation, you would hold yourself to the standard you seem to want to hold me to? Is that... Oh, she's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I would hold myself to that standard.
You would?
I absolutely would.
All right, cool.
100%. I would actually. I mean, listen, Aaron. I am extremely hard on myself. You have probably no idea. The audience has no idea. They think I just mouth off and say shit. But like literally, I hold myself to an extremely high standard in terms of how it affects me later. And I feel
what does that mean?
Very passionate about that. So like if I, the last stream I did on my channel where I talked about recovery and stuff, right? I
thought it was a good video.
Thank you. I have a very talking about that stuff has a very physical effect on me. I am positive that even though this conversation I would characterize having gone relatively well, I will still have a physical effect on me.
But what does that have to do with holding yourself to a high standard?
So I hold myself to the standard of, especially now, of trying to create. I'm trying not to use Scientology terms so bad. Like I'm trying.
You can do it with me, Nora. You can do it.
But I'm trying. Literally, I'm trying to utilize my platform to create a safe space where people can collaborate to become an activist, group against this common enemy that we have. That is.
How can your channel be where a whole bunch of people collaborate? Did I misunderstand? I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off. But
that's what I'm trying to do with my stories, right? Like instead of directing the power of my voice and storytelling towards, shitting on you as I had been, right? I'm trying to direct that in a more positive fashion towards getting to the nitty-gritty of what Scientology does. That involves telling my story, but also diving into those really, really hard stories to tell. Like when I read the Neil Gaiman, article, which was that shit fucked me up for a few days, because it's thinking about those kinds of things is really awful.
I'm fading really fast. I'm kind of fading fast. So I just want to bring you back.
Yeah.
You were talking about holding yourself to a higher standard.
I hold myself to the standard of that's what I want to do. That's the standard that I'm holding myself to. So if I were, going to become a member of a foundation or something else, I would hold my words and my actions in public to a even higher standard. I would be more.
Is that why you don't start a foundation? So you don't have to hold yourself to that standard?
I don't start a foundation because I don't know how, and I don't.
I'll show you so that we can hold ourselves to the same standards.
And it's not.
I'll help you.
Okay,
I'll give you the seed money. I'll give you the seed money.
Well, you guys heard it here. Aaron's gonna fund my foundation. Listen,
I
have
need 3 people. I'll do the paperwork for you. I'll get your EIN. I'll get your EIN for you.
I'll do the paper. I can do paperwork. That's not the problem. The problem is the paperwork. The problem is my time management skills. They are bad, and I need to be much better. Like, right, for example, at 6 o'clock, I gotta go make dinner for my family, and it's 9 o'clock where you are, and we've talked way longer than we thought. So it's just, we're almost 4 hours. We were joking, but it's almost 4 hours now. So in closing, kids, let's wrap this thing up here in a bow. In closing, I think I would encourage us to have more conversations either here or in private. And I would encourage,
I agree.
Unity. And by that I mean not everybody has to think the same thing or support all the same people, but I would encourage unity in our effort to direct our anger, our upset, our energy toward Scientology more than we direct it towards each other, even when we're really, really pissed off. And I'm saying that to myself too, because I've been very guilty of that. But I feel like just as a whole, audience, everybody, chat, protesters, all of this stuff, I think that it's not productive. Productive is a bad word. It's not healthy to be focused on what we don't like about each other. Because you and I could sit here for like probably 7 hours and talk about all the things we don't like about each other.
For the record, I do not have big earlobes. Not that
I said they were big ears. I said they were grandpa ears. I also have grandpa ears.
Earlobes.
I also have grandpa ears.
No, you have like kind of adorable little elf ears, as do I.
Your ears match small. Your ears match your head. Your ears match your head.
Ears. Look at my head.
I know. You're just so sensitive about your looks. I just thought it was a funny
My chat is confirming. You said earlobes.
I said
You're
earlobes.
misremembering it.
Did I say I said earlobes? Okay. Guys, listen, I have some memory issues. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember. I remember trauma very vividly.
Didn't remember our 1 hour conversation.
No, I did. I was on drugs. I was on anesthesia. And then
it was the best conversation we ever had, Nora.
I'm glad you had a good time. No, it was the best conversation you had.
You don't even remember how great
conversation that we had.
You don't even remember how great your answers were. Like
no.
You were like funny. You were like responsive.
It was great. None. No.
Can you ask your wife to give you anesthesia?
No.
Like, before every time we talk or something?
No, I'm not. Listen, I think this conversation went pretty well, and I'm not on drugs. So there you go. Like I'm not on anesthesia. Allegedly. Yeah, I just have an anesthesiologist. All right, you gotta go.
This is a good time. Guys, this has been a blast.
Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I know it got spicy in all the chats, but guys, listen. This is
not my chat. They're fucking respectful over there.
Yeah, sure.
Not like your trash chat.
Give me a break. I think, listen, I'm glad that two adults talk like two adults to each other for the most part, for majority of this conversation. And that, maybe something good will come of this. I want something good to come of this. That's why I reached out. And I think that, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can all start marching forward kind of together. I don't know.
Bye.